What's going on, folks? And thank you for tuning in with me to another edition of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And, of course, I am your host, the man they call Ghost. And once again, folks, I want to thank you very much for tuning in with me. Whether you're live or in the archive, I definitely appreciate your patronage. And before we get into anything else, I'd like to ask everybody to please spread this show link around like wildfire and let everybody you know across the internets and throughout the world, let them all know that True Capitalist Radio is in effect and in the house. And we are live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Texas Time, right here on the official website of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. Go ahead and type this in your browser, add this to your bookmarks, add this to your favorites. The following, ghost.report. Okay, that's the official website of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast, ghost.report. Make sure to spread that link around like wildfire, okay? Anyway, folks, this is episode number 639. Episode number 639 for all the folks that are keeping track of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And I guess if you want to follow me on Gab, that's my only social media at the present time. I'm not too happy with the service anymore, but what the hell? Go ahead and follow me on there under the name Politics Ghost. All one word, no underscores. Politics Ghost is the name to follow on Gab, all right? Now, this is episode number 639. Like I said before, this is November 12th, 2018. And it's Veterans Day weekend, to say the least. I want to say happy Veterans Day to all the folks that are veterans and are serving the U.S. Armed Forces. I want to say thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. We will never forget your sacrifices. We will never forget everything that you do so that we can, I want to be honest with you, remain free for the meantime, because I don't think we're going to be free much longer. And I made a Gab this weekend that took some flack from some folk. You know what I mean? And it took flack from some folk because I stated the following this weekend. I gabbed, and I'm going to repeat to you the Gab. I want to say Happy Veterans Day to all who have sacrificed for America. Unfortunately, the culmination of your great sacrifices have given America a population of self-serving and unappreciative autists, aspies, faggots, dykes, gender benders, and man-children and weak men who couldn't care less about Veterans Day. Our veterans deserve more. I am sorry, and I truly am sorry, and there's nothing that I could say, folks. I want to be completely honest with you. I mean, that's the culmination of the majority of not just America, but of Western civilization. And what people don't understand is that the blueprint to take control of America is written in Europe, and no one even bothers to look at what's going on across the pond. No one realizes that the reason that the Europeans, specifically in the European Union, are losing their sovereignty is because of the same shit that's going to happen here in America. And I give it about 2-3 years, maybe 5 years. What's going to happen, folks, is what's happened to Europe. What happened to Europe? In 2015, the European Union decided that they were going to allow all these wild jihadist Yehudi migrants, some 3 million plus, into the European Union. And as a result, what happened? What happened? I'll tell you what happened, folks. The wild, battle-hardened jihadist Yehudis raped and pillaged and continue to pillage the European Union, and the European Union and the domestic governments are doing nothing about it. They're doing nothing about it. Now, why is that? Because, folks, as I've stated many times, Europe has been completely pussified, pacified, and docile because of the 40 years of socialism that has probably encapsulated at least 2 to 3 generations of Europeans, and they're fucking weak. They're weak. They can't stand up against these battle-hardened jihadists who have seen blown off limbs, killed family members. They probably chopped off heads, and if they haven't chopped off heads, they've seen heads chopped off. They've seen the unfortunate, grim aspect of war. And you see, you have this population of Europe that was so pussy-pampered, and I hate to say it's because of America. America has protected your European asses, and hence, why do you think Macron is trying to call for a European Union army? Because they, and I'm talking about Europe, has spent nothing on defense. They have relied on the United States, they have relied on NATO, and as a result, what has Europe done? They've done nothing but for the past 40 years, oh yes, I am from Europe, yes, and what I do is I work 5-6 hours a day, we have 3-hour lunches, we drink wine on the lunches, yes, and what we do is we like to go out, we like to drink, we like to have drugs, we like to fuck, and that's what we do, yes, and that's what we do out here in Europe. And let me tell you, what did Europe culminate after all that socialism? A bunch of weak pieces of fucking European trash. Weak pieces of European trash. And aside from them being weak, they didn't procreate. They didn't continue to have children. Why? Because of this socialist nonsense. This idea of, oh yes, all I'm going to do is go out and I'm going to drink and I'm going to have drugs and I'm going to fuck. That's why they were completely docile. That's why Europe is so fucking weak. And that's why there's no European men attempting to stand up in this jihadist invasion of their country, because they don't know how to. The European countries that they reside in either took away their guns from them or never allowed them to have guns so that they could protect themselves and fight back. And as a result, folks, what happened? Remember, the damn migrant crisis happened in 2015. It's mere 2018, barely 3 years. Barely 3 years. And as a result, the jihadists have taken complete and total control of Europe. And what happened when they brought in the migrants? What happens when they brought in the wild Yehudi jihadists into Europe? Well, they started committing terrorist acts. They started raping women. They started becoming violent. And who did the governments punish because of the immigrant or migrant-induced violence? They punished the domestic weak population. And as I've stated time and time again, folks, the blueprint of taking over America is in Europe. Because you see, once they allowed those jihadists to come into the country in Europe, these domestic, docile, weak populations didn't know what to do. They didn't know what to do, and that's why they're being taken over completely. Completely. And that's the blueprint here for America. Now, as we've seen, folks, in the House of Representatives midterm election, we are seeing a demographic shift in the American population. And the proof is in the House of Representatives. It's supposed to represent little districts of the people in America. And take a look at all the weirdos, all the ridiculous anti-American trash that was elected into office in the House of Representatives. And you know what this represents, folks? As I've stated time and time again, 10 years ago, I told you all that the pussification, the absolute pussification of the American male was being implemented because of single mothers. And that was 10 years ago. That was in 2008, 2009. Fast forward to now. Now we are witnessing the consequence of the products of single mothers, the products of feminism, the products of faggots, dykes, gender benders, and weak men. We are witnessing it right before our very eyes in America, folks. And you see, this is the same thing that happened to Europe. And in my personal opinion, folks, I see no light at the end of the tunnel. I think that the House of Representatives and the elections and the midterms was nothing more than the first wave of the riffraff of America electing complete and total lunatics into government. As I stated, folks, take a look at the House of Representatives. You've got two Muslim women, because they're not Arab, but one of them's a Somalian or something. All right? Two Muslim women that are going to wear hijabs in the House of Representatives. Oh, that's American, isn't it, huh? That's American. You've got this idea that these loser people, and let's be honest, folks, the millennials and Generation Zers, they're gone. There's no way that you're going to change these people's minds. These people are obsessed with being sexual deviants, with being, I want to be a pansexual. I want to be sexually androgynous. I want to be two-spirited, recreating new genders. I mean, I even blogged about some asshole who thought he was a genderless alien. Okay, that's what he wanted to be called. He wanted to be called a genderless alien. And you've got people either playing video games, waxing their carrot to cartoons. And as a matter of fact, if you wax your carrot to cartoons, if you're over the fucking age of 18 and still watch cartoons, you should be fucking killed as far as I'm concerned. I'm not even kidding around. I'm not even kidding. If I was Fuhrer, you'd be the first ones in the goddamn oven as far as I'm concerned. But I'm not, so it doesn't matter, right? You can go continue to wax your carrot off to cartoons, play video games. You see, what I'm getting to is, folks, is we have a docile and a complacent population now, just like Europe. Just like Europe. And you see what's going to happen here in the next 3 to 5 years. That's why they're getting caravans in the South, out there in Mexico and in South America. They're getting these caravans ready to march right into America so that they can take control of this country. I mean, you already understand, folks, that the destabilization in South America it's already here. I mean, just take a look. Take a look at the destabilization of Guatemala. Take a look at the destabilization of Venezuela. Take a look at the destabilization of Nicaragua. You understand? I mean, take a look at all these. These people are all displaced. There are already 3 million refugees wandering around in South America from Venezuela. And I know people want me to feel sorry for Venezuelans. I don't. I don't feel sorry for Venezuela. I don't feel sorry for you people. Why? Because y'all were an emerging market. Y'all were an emerging economy until you morons in Venezuela decided to voluntarily vote in communism yourselves. I mean, you all understand this is what happened to Venezuela, you morons. All right? This is what happened to Venezuela. And I'm telling each and every one of you right now, because the bottom line is all these displaced people that we see all over the goddamn South America, they're headed right into America here in the next 3 to 5 years. All right? 3 to 5 years. And what's going to happen is all these fucking weak men, all these faggots, all these lesbos, these gender benders, these man children, they're all docile. They're not going to fight. You think they're going to fight a bunch of battle-hardened South Americans, battle-hardened Mexicans that have more physical strength and have been through hell? You think that you're going to be able to combat these immigrants? You're not. You're absolutely not. And I want to be completely honest with you. I hate to say this, but because we're entering into a new demographic dynamic in the American electorate, and folks, I'm going to be honest with you, generations of millennials and Generation Z, they're all a bunch of socialist pieces of trash. Why? Because they still live with their mommy and daddy. And that's what this is all coming down to, folks. You still got fucking millennials that are over the age of 30 years old that are still living with mommy and daddy, and can't even take care of themselves, let alone going to be able to handle what's going to happen to America here in the next 5 years. Now, unfortunately, folks, because we are a free society, we allow people to do whatever they want. Unfortunately, we're headed in now to a quasi-socialist society. Now, for you idiots that are out there that think that socialism is such a great thing, I am going to challenge you on that, because as far as I'm concerned, I think capitalists, we need to rearrange our strategy. And our strategy shouldn't be, I hate to say this, to preserve freedom at this point, because there's not enough of us. There's not enough of us to preserve freedom. You have to know that you that are listening to the sound of my voice, you are the last generations that are going to ever see the semblance of freedom. You have to know this. So instead of beating a dead horse and thinking that, once again, products of single mothers, feminists, faggots, dykes, gender benders, weak men, if you think that these people are going to be self-sufficient, and because they're self-sufficient, going to demand freedom, you've got another thing coming. You've got another thing coming, folks. So what I am proposing at this point in time, since we are in dire straits, because as I stated, this is not just your, oh, Ghost, you're overreacting, man. I mean, you have to understand, this happens. This is a political cycle. I mean, they're going to come back, and the Republicans are going to take over. No, it's not, folks. And you can tell that by not only the people that voted, but who they voted into the House of Representatives. And I'm saying that capitalists need to change their strategy. And if these people want socialism, then we should fight them with their own socialism. And what do I mean by that, folks? What I mean is that since these soy boy, living with mommy and daddy, lost generations called millennials and Gen Zers, since they think that socialism is going to give them so much, we need to, for the rest of their lives, have them pay for thinking that socialism was so good. Now, the thing about it is, folks, is that capitalists, we can survive socialism. We can survive anything, because as long as you're a capitalist-minded, independent person, you can survive anything. But what we're going to have to do, folks, is take the framework for which this damn United States is going to turn into, because it's going to turn socialist. You have to realize it. It's going to turn socialist. What we should do as capitalists is start advocating legislation to punish the millennials and the Gen Zers, the products of single mothers, the feminists, the faggots, the dykes, the gender benders and weak men. We should punish these people and give them a taste of their own goddamn socialism. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean is thus, us capitalists, we have to advocate regulation. Because remember, that's what socialists love. Socialists love government intervention. Socialists love regulations, right? Then we should start advocating legislation that hurts and affects each and every one of these groups. And as I proposed for the LGBTQ, I think that right away, since all these people want free Medicare and free health care, we need to boil it down to cost, because that's really the argument against free medical, or free whatever, Medicare, free health care, whatever the hell these people want, right? But you see, we have to be fiscal about it. And by being fiscal, that means we can hurt the people that brought this shit in. I mean, what do I mean by that? What I mean is pre-existing conditions. We need to go after the pre-existing condition, because as I stated in the last broadcast, HIV/AIDS comprises of $26 billion a year in America alone. All right? Now, that's what they talk about when they talk about pre-existing conditions, because under our current medical system, if you have cancer, if you have leukemia or anything else like this, this damn medical industry is made to juice whatever life that you have left to put it in the pockets of the doctors. That's why a doctor gets a kickback. He gets a piece of the chemotherapy sale that he sells you when he diagnoses you with cancer. There is a vested interest to have sick people. The only vested interest that the medical industry doesn't want is people with HIV/AIDS. Why? Because the costs don't compute under the current system. They do not compute. So as far as I'm concerned, folks, us capitalists, we should be advocating, okay, y'all want free health care, y'all want free this? Fine. We need to be able to pay for it. And the only way we're going to be able to pay for it is if we just eliminate the AIDS, HIV element of the healthcare system. Y'all remember me talking about healthcare and talking about how I couldn't find an accurate amount or an accurate number of people that die of AIDS, HIV each year in America, and the only figure I could find was on a pro-advocate HIV/AIDS website, in which they claim that 1 million people die each year in America of HIV/AIDS. And this was on some, advocacy site. And if that's the case, folks, then AIDS, HIV is the leading cause of death in this country. And if that's the case, how and why are we continuing to take care of this? It is unsustainable. Moreover, the community that comprises the bulk of HIV/AIDS cases, the LGBTQ movement, they don't have a care in the world for their own lives. Y'all remember, folks, I got on Grindr about 2 or 3 shows ago and told you that there are a plethora of men and trannies and everything else looking for bareback sex, quote unquote. They're looking for loads, taking loads. And you know what that means, folks? They don't have a care in the world for their own fucking life. They're putting their own life at risk because of some sexual perversion. They have no fucking care in the world for themselves. Because as I've stated time and time again, if you want to partake in that, you could easily save your life and protect yourself of the AIDS and HIV by simply putting on a condom. Simply putting on a condom, and for whatever reason, these gays, these LGBTQers don't want to do it. They don't want to do it. So by that logic, if the LGBTQ doesn't care about themselves, if the movement of the LGBTQ doesn't want to preserve the health and stop the infections of HIV/AIDS, then why are we, the people that work, the people that pay taxes, why are we on the hook for the bill for these group of people that are nothing more than a death cult? And that's what it is. And that's why I'm advocating that we need to cut all funding of any AIDS, HIV medication, of any Truvada, any of this stuff, okay? Because if y'all want free health care, that's the way we're going to have to do it based on cost. We have to take a realist approach. And I'm thinking like a, quote, socialist on this, because that's how socialists think. They think, okay, look, if we're going to have to do a universal health care system, we have to make sure that it doesn't bankrupt the country, because if it bankrupts the country, then we're going to end up like Venezuela. So we can't do that, so what we have to do is cut costs down. And how do you cut it down, folks? You cut it down by eliminating the HIV/AIDS motherfuckers. And look, if any of these HIV/AIDS cry foul, well, then you just tell them that there was a commercial about, 8 years ago with all these stupid fucking stars talking about what they bought for 40 cents. Look it up. It's still up on YouTube. All these stars claiming, I bought lipstick. I bought gum. I bought this for 40 cents. And at the end, you got faggot Bono at the end saying, these pills right here, these pills, 40 cents a day. 40 cents a day keeps people with HIV/AIDS alive. Now, if you AIDS, HIV motherfuckers can't afford 40 cents a day to keep yourselves alive, why the fuck should we? Why the hell should we, taxpayers, who are busting our asses every day and paying into the system, why the fuck should we take care of you when you don't even take care of yourself? All right? You don't even want to take care of yourselves. Why should we pay for your PrEP or, quote, Truvada? Why should we do this? I don't think we should do this. I'm telling you this right now. We shouldn't. And another thing. We should start advocating. I'm not kidding around. People may disagree with me. I don't give a shit. Okay? I don't give a fuck. I don't play video games. I don't play cartoons. I don't give a fuck. It ain't going to affect me. But I think that we should start regulating video games, because that right there is the culmination of leftism, of complacency, of nothingness, okay? Of absolute nothingness. And what I'm saying by regulating, because look, all of you fucking Gen Zers and all of you millennials, y'all aren't going to be affected. You know, y'all are all over 21. Y'all are all losers. Who gives a shit? Okay? What I'm saying is, though, we need to regulate video games like we were regulating pornography. Like we regulate alcohol. You have to be over 21 to purchase the son of a bitch. And I know that some of you are all, well, you know what, Ghost, they're going to get around all that. They can just make Tor and we can do VPNs. Hey, assholes, you're going to witness here in the next couple of years the consolidation of no fucking privacy on the internet. They've already made VPNs illegal in Europe. Okay, and if you're caught using a VPN in Europe, you can get into some serious fucking trouble. And Tor, I can't believe that you people still use that shit when it's been exposed in many different federal cases in which Tor was used in an attempt to, I don't know, commit some kind of digital act of crime, and they were still caught amidst all this Tor shit. So in my opinion, I think that we should regulate. I mean, look, this is what socialism is. If y'all don't like it, y'all voted this in. Y'all voted in socialism, so we have to work around the framework of what socialism is. So as far as I'm concerned, we need to regulate internet. Not internet, excuse me. Well, it's already going to be regulated anyway. I don't have to even call for the regulation of the internet. They're already going to do it. I'm talking about the regulation of video games. We should not have anyone under the age of 21 playing video games whatsoever. And what does it do? It does nothing but make a generation of nothingness, of nothing, of complacency, of weakness. That's what video games do. And they cause obesity. They cause diabetes, because what do these fucking gamers do? They just sit back on their fat asses eating Pop-Tarts and Pizza Pockets, playing their goddamn video games until their thumbs are bruised. And they do that from age, who the hell knows, 10 or 11, all the way until they're 40 or 50 years old at this point. Who knows? And I want to be completely honest with you. If you think that this is not possible, you are an idiot. You are a complete idiot. Remember, you people voted this in. You people wanted socialism. So this is the framework for which we, as the people, can literally frame legislation so we can start regulating. Because that's what socialism is, you dumbasses. It's pure regulation. It's pure laws and expansion of bureaucracy, etc., etc. And that's what we have to do, folks. If these fucking dumb Gen Zers and millennials, they're the ones that voted into the House, these socialist candidates. If this is what they want, then we need to go at them with legislation. We need to go at them. And as far as I'm concerned as well, I think that anybody, and look, I don't know how many cases of pedophilia in these circles that we have to expose before people realize that anyone over the age of 18 that is obsessed with cartoons to the point where they're going to conventions and trying to get in contact with younger people, because that's what this is all about, folks. All right, we've exposed it in the True Capitalist Radio chat room with all these bronies and these anime and all these fucking people that like all this sexualization of cartoons. We've exposed enough to realize that anyone who's over the age of 18 that likes and is obsessed with cartoons is 9 times out of 10 a fucking pedophile. Now, why in the hell are we not regulating this aspect of society? And I think that we continue. I'm not kidding around. Y'all want socialism. Here it comes. And listen, the things that I'm suggesting, you morons and your simplistic Gen Z millennial minds think it's not possible. What I'm saying is, folks, right now, the laws that I'm talking about could easily be bipartisan. Could easily be bipartisan, for Christ's sake. All right? And lest we forget, thank you for the chat room for reminding me of this, video gaming disorder is now a mental health condition. Yeah. So all of you people that are obsessed with video games, y'all now have mental health problems. And you know what's happening now? Did y'all hear in, I believe it was Maryland? In Maryland, anyone who is construed as having a mental health issue, the local governments of Maryland can just go into your house and unarm you, even if you have a firearm that was legally purchased. Can you believe that? Huh? I told you this was coming. Didn't I say this was coming in 2016? I told you all that, hey, it's going to start like this. They're going to start saying, look, we can't sell anybody guns, and we've got to confiscate guns from people that have mental disorders. Then it's going to go from mental disorders to, well, anybody who drinks alcohol, okay? Then it's going to go from that to anybody who smokes marijuana, okay? Anybody who smokes marijuana cannot have a gun. I'm not joking, all right? I'm not joking. So this is what we're going down, and as far as I'm concerned, I'm ready for it, all right? I mean, I'm serious. You people are going to have to live with the consequence of legislation that is passed. I mean, my time is already, most of my time is already gone. You know what I'm saying? Most of my time is already gone, and as far as I'm concerned, you people are going to have to deal with this, not me. So I think that we need, if you want my personal opinion, we need some regulation out here that literally hits these dumb socialists right in their faces where it belongs. You know what I mean? So anyway, let me move on, all right? Let me move on. I think I've taken way too much time, but I feel sorry for the veterans out here. I want to be honest with you. I feel sorry for you. You wasted your lives, man. And I'm not trying to degrade the veterans, believe me. But take a look at the fucking American society. Take a look at the young people that are ungrateful and they could care less about Veterans Day. They could care less about sacrifices. They could care less about anything so long as, hey, I want my video game. Yay! Hey, I want my cartoons. Yay! Spaghetti. Yay! I feel sorry for veterans, man. I feel sorry for them. It sucks. But this is the new demographic shift, folks. And look, there's no changing the minds of these dumb millennials or Gen Zers. You have to realize that this is the culmination. This is the culmination of what we have in not just this America. I'm talking also of Western civilization. Anyway, folks, let's continue on. Let me go ahead and cover some cryptocurrency over here, all right, since we're getting a little bit short on time in the first hour here, but I had to say what had to be said, all right? Anyway, folks, cryptocurrency, I don't know if y'all know, but Coinbase added a few more coins to its exchange And the announcement came in earlier today. Cardano, Zcash, and Stellar are going to be added to the Coinbase exchange. Anyway, as you can see, we are seeing a current contraction in the market right now, and I think it's short-lived, if you want my opinion, because of the dollar. Lest we forget, the U.S. dollar continues to rise, and that's why we're seeing a contraction in the cryptocurrency market. Okay? Anyway, Coinbase once again adds Cardano, Zcash, Stellar to its exchange. And look, the reason I'm saying that this contraction is temporary, even Binance's CEO, you know I'm talking about, funds are safe, that guy. Binance's CEO predicts Bitcoin and cryptocurrency bull run in the very near future. All right, very near future. So I'm pretty bullish on cryptocurrency. All right, I'm pretty bullish. But as far as I'm concerned, folks, I mean, if you haven't gotten into the cryptocurrency markets at this point, don't be bitching and moaning when we see another bull run in cryptocurrency and you're like, Goat, I don't get it. I should have been there. I kept telling your asses. I kept telling you. Anyway, current market capitalization for the cryptocurrency market is $211 billion market cap, all right? All right, let's go ahead and get to Bitcoin here, all right? Bitcoin, BTC, current market capitalization for Bitcoin is $110 billion market cap. Circulating supply is 17.3 million in circulation. The past 24 hours, Bitcoin has gone down slightly. Once again, as I stated, we are seeing a slight contraction in the market because of the dollar rising, man. Take a look at that U.S. dollar. Current price for Bitcoin is $6,383.74 per Bitcoin. We've got Ethereum, folks, ETH. Now, I don't know what the hell's going on. Your guess is as good as mine with Ethereum. You've got some big wigs in the institutional stock markets liking this particular goddamn crypto. I don't. There's a lot of flaws in it. Their virtual machine sucks. Smart contract is meh. So I don't know what the hell's up with Ethereum, and not to mention, I don't like Vitalik, that fucking pause-hole fruit bowl wearing, you know, man purses and shit. I don't like this guy. This guy's in charge of this coin? I don't think so. All right? I don't think so. Anyway, Ethereum, ETH, market capitalization is $21 billion market cap. Circulating supply is 103 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, we have seen Ethereum go down 0.90%. The current price for Ethereum is $209.98 per Ethereum. Once again, I keep covering the next coin, Ripple, all right? And the reason I keep covering it is because, once again, what I keep telling you, the mainstream business media keeps plugging this son of a bitch. And for whatever reason, Ripple keeps getting financial institutions as partners to use its blockchain to help transactions within the financial systems. You know what I mean? So XRP is the symbol for Ripple. That's why I keep covering it. As I stated, I think that Ripple could be something to hold on to here for the next 6 to 8 months, just based on the business media hype. So let's cover up Ripple. Ripple's market capitalization is $20 billion market cap. The circulating supply for Ripple is 40 billion in circulation. In the past 24 hours, we have seen Ripple go up 1.78% increase. The current price for Ripple is now 51 cents. It's one of the few that are in the green in this contracting market. That's why I'm covering it, all right? Bitcoin Cash, we saw a dramatic increase for Bitcoin Cash since the hard fork. We are seeing it coming down now. People are taking profits, probably switching it around to Zcash, to Cardano, or whatever else is being listed at Stellar on Coinbase. Let's take a look at Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Current market cap is $8.9 billion market cap. Circulating supply, 17.4 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, Bitcoin Cash has gone down 3.32%. Current price for Bitcoin Cash, $513.42 per Bitcoin Cash. Let's get to Litecoin, folks. Like I said, I keep covering Litecoin because it's one of the first kids on the blockchain. Or I shouldn't say first kid. It's been an OG, all right? It's been an OG on the blockchain. I don't know what's going to happen to it. There was all kinds of speculation of good things happening to Litecoin until Charlie Lee, the creator of Litecoin, decided to be an autistic tart on Twitter and literally blew any chance of having any legitimate partnership as far as I'm concerned, all right? Anyway, Litecoin, LTC, market capitalization is $2.9 billion market cap. Circulating supply, 59 million in circulation for Litecoin. In the past 24 hours, we have seen it go down 1.25%. Current price for Litecoin is $50.72 per Litecoin. Let's get to Monero, folks. Monero, it's been pretty steady. It used to be something of a jumper as it relates to pattern, and swing trading. But it stayed steady over 100 here for the past several weeks. Let's take a look at it. XMR is the symbol. Market capitalization is $1.7 billion market cap. The circulating supply is 16.5 million in circulation for Monero. In the past 24 hours, Monero has gone down 1.55%. Current price for Monero, $105.18 per Monero. Okay? Let's go ahead and go to Dash. What have I told you about Dash, folks? Dash is in the green. Why is Dash in the green while everything is contracting? Because Dash is widely accepted, baby, especially amongst the South Americans. All right? I mean, take a look at the acceptance on a retail scale of Dash. And by the way, as I've stated, there's still Genesis-mining.com mining contracts for Dash. Go ahead and take a look at my Gab, folks, if you want to hook it up. Take a look at it. It's Genesis-mining.com. And if you want to entertain a Genesis-mining.com contract, make sure to use the discount code, baby. Everybody's got to use the discount code. The discount code is WEA296. All right, once again, the discount code is WEA296 is the discount code. But let's get back to Dash. DASH is the symbol. Market capitalization is $1.3 billion market cap. The circulating supply is 8.4 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, Dash has gone up 1.57%. Current price for Dash is $163.10 per Dash. All right? Let's get to Ethereum Classic, baby. Now, I like Ethereum Classic way more than Ethereum, okay? ETC is the symbol. We got market capitalization on Ethereum Classic at $973 million market cap. Circulating supply is 105 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, Ethereum Classic has gone down 1.16%. Current price for Ethereum Classic is $9.19 per Ethereum Classic. All right? Let's get to Zcash. Like I said, it's added on Coinbase. And all of you people that purchase Zcash mining contracts, aren't you glad you did so, huh? Aren't you glad you did so? I told you, boys. I told you Zcash is what I like. I like it a lot more than Monero because the two are compared because they have privacy components, etc. I told you why I like Zcash, and here it comes, boys. ZEC is the symbol. Market capitalization is $694 million. The circulating supply is still very low, 5.2 million. 5.2 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, Zcash has gone up 2.50%. Current price for Zcash is $132.92 per Zcash. And I anticipate that going up and up and up, if you want my opinion, man. I told you. Now, we are seeing a little bit of a contraction in 0x, folks. ZRX, I think it's a good time to buy it at this point in time. It's got a lot of good technology to it. A lot of obviously it's on Coinbase. A lot of good things to it. I think this could easily take, as I've said before, the same trajectory as EOS. Remember, EOS was a 40-cent crypto. All right, it was 40 cents. I'm just saying. But we are seeing a major contraction in 0x. Let's take a look at it. ZRX is the symbol. Market capitalization is $367 million market cap. The circulating supply is 546 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, we have seen 0x go down 3.51%. Current price for 0x is 67 cents per 0x. Let's go to Quantum. Once again, my biggest holding, QTUM, baby. All right, and it's based on the technology. All right. Anyway, let's go ahead and talk about it. QTUM, market capitalization is $337 million market cap. The circulating supply, 89 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, we have seen QTUM go down in this contraction, 1.21%. Current price for Quantum QTUM, $3.80 per Quantum. All right. And let's get to a basic attention coin. Good God, what a contraction on basic attention coin. Good God. Anyway, let's take a look at it. BAT, market capitalization is $248 million in market cap. The circulating supply of basic attention coin is 1 billion in circulation. In the past 24 hours, we have seen basic attention coin go down 3.86%. Good God. Basic attention coin's price right now, 24 cents? I mean, Jesus Christ. Anyway, we've got 42 coin, folks. My second biggest holding. And I don't know if you've noticed, but basic attention coin is starting to expand its markets. And you're going to be able to trade this on many a different market here, so just be on the lookout for 42 coin. And by the way, I think I'm going to be accepting 42 coin exclusively for the next things that I'm going to be putting out as merch, all right? I'm serious. The next thing that I'm going to be putting out as merch here, and I'm going to be putting it out here probably next week, okay? And I'm just going to be accepting 42 coin exclusively because this coin, it's a great coin, and I want more of it. I want more of it, for Christ's sake. 42 coin, market capitalization is 929,000. The circulating supply for 42 coin is 42 coins. In the past 24 hours, while everything's going down, 42 coin is up 6%. Current price for 42 coin is $22,121.57 per 42 coin. And that concludes the cryptocurrency coverage of the Financial Hour. Let's go ahead and get to stocks. Now, boys, did y'all see the Dow fall below 600 points in the Dow Jones Industrial? And why is that happening? Why is that happening? The reason it's happening, folks, is because, man, you've got tech worries because of the U.S.-China trade war. I mean, Apple led the major contraction because it released forecasts of lower iPhone demand. Jesus Christ. I mean, you think? You think, for Christ's sake? Give me a drink. I got to drink some water here. Yeah, you think that there's a iPhone lack of demand? I mean, they've got phones out the ass nowadays. You've got all kinds of different phones that blow iPhone out of the water. iPhone is for old people that don't know technology. It's for idiots that don't get it. Do you understand? It's idiot-proof. And now that people are getting acquainted with, you know, cell phone technology and the internet, they don't need the iPhone anymore. They don't need some expensive piece of shit. All right, so what? So I can, hey, I look cool because iPhone is a culture, dude. So anyway, that's why the Dow Jones Industrial fell over 600 points today. Let's go ahead and cover it here. We've got, unless we forget, folks, I want you all to know that the FDA is thinking about outright banning menthol cigarettes. Oh, man, I bet you black people are going to say, man, that's racist, man. They're going to be taking away my Newport. They're going to be taking away my Newports, man. That's racist, baby. That's racist. Well, that's what the FDA is thinking about. That's what they're talking about. They're talking about regulating and completely banning menthol cigarettes. So anyway, let's go ahead and continue, okay? Dow Jones Industrial is down 602.12 points, a percentage decrease of 2.32% decrease on the day, closing out the Dow Jones Industrial at 25,387.18 points for the Dow Jones Industrial. The S&P 500 is also down, folks, 54.79 points, a percentage decrease of 1.97% decrease on the day, closing out the S&P at 2,726.22 points for the S&P 500. We've got the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ is also down 206.03 points, a percentage decrease of 2.78%, closing out that NASDAQ. Good God, weren't we at almost 8,000 NASDAQ at one point? NASDAQ is now at 7,200.87 points for the NASDAQ composite. Good God. Good God, it seems to me that the damn stock market is getting as fickle as the cryptocurrency market, for Christ's sake. Good Lord. Anyway, let's go ahead and get to commodities, folks. Energy continues to go low. And, the president tweeted out that, he wants lower oil prices, and I don't blame him, especially right before the holidays. Anyway, let's get to WTI sweet crude. WTI is down 91 cents, a percentage decrease of 1.52%, closing out WTI at $59.02 per barrel of WTI sweet crude. We've got Brent crude also down today, 86 cents, a percentage decrease of 1.23%, closing out Brent crude at $69.26 per barrel of Brent crude oil. We've got gasoline. It is also down 1.20%. We've got natural gas. It is up. It is up 3.35%. And heating oil, we should start seeing this son of a bitch go up, because isn't an Arctic cold front going into the Northeast? We're going to see some snow out there in the New England area. At least that's what the weathermen said. Who knows? Anyway, heating oil is down 0.71%. Let's go ahead and get to the metals, shall we? The metals! Let's get to the goddamn metals! We've got gold unchanged today. Gold is unchanged. Current price for gold is $1,203.50 per troy ounce of gold. We've got silver unchanged today. Good God. Closing out silver at $14.01 per troy ounce of silver. We've got copper down modestly, 0.28%, and platinum is up 0.22%. Let's go ahead and get to the agriculture. Grains, we've got corn down 0.40%. Wheat is down 0.05%. Oats is unchanged today. It is unchanged. Rough rice is up 0.33%. We've got soybean down 0.11%. Soybean oil is down 0.14%, and canola is down 0.08%. Let's go ahead and get to the soft, shall we? Cocoa is down 1.71%. Coffee is down 2.98%. Sugar is up for some reason. It is up 1.65%. We've got orange juice also down 0.51%. Cotton. Surprised to see cotton down. It is down 2.02%. Lumber is finally starting to come down. It is down 1.51%. Rubber is down 0.82%, and ethanol is up 0.32% increase on the day for ethanol. Let's go ahead and get to livestock, shall we, since we're getting so close to Thanksgiving and the holidays. Live cattle is up 0.17% increase for live cattle. And let me tell you, folks, this Thanksgiving, most people aren't getting turkey anymore. I mean, people are getting rib roast, they're getting porterhouses, they're getting tenderloins, they're getting badass cuts of beef. And I don't blame them. All right, I don't blame them. I think, you know what I think I'm going to do for Thanksgiving? I think I'm going to do some surf and turf. I think that's what I'm going to do. All right, I get some steak and shrimp. Damn right. And I got to add some fats to that because I'm on keto, so I'll probably eat a shitload of goddamn avocados. Avocados is a great thing, not only to eat because you can increase your fats in keto, but it's got a hell of a lot of potassium. And potassium is good for the heart, so FYI, you need a lot of potassium, all right? Anyway, cattle feeder, it is down 0.05% on the day. And lean hog, for all those folks that are thinking about getting a fat, greasy ham bone for Thanksgiving, I might get a ham. I mean, who knows? I might get a goddamn ham for Thanksgiving. Some kind of a nice, juicy pork butt, you know? And I'm not talking about your mom's ass. I'm talking about, a nice, greasy pork butt ham looking great. I have a great glaze that I make for it. It's going to be great. Anyway, lean hog is up 1.34% increase on the day, and that, my friends, is the markets for your ass. All right? Anyway, folks, let me go ahead and say thank you all for listening. Whether you like me, whether you hate me, just keep listening, all right? Keep listening. It don't matter. It don't matter. Anyway, I'm going to get this high-quality glass of H2O, and I want to say cheers to everybody out there who's a capitalist and who realizes that the country is in dire straits. But as I stated at the beginning of the broadcast, we have to look to a new outlook as it relates to politics. If these goddamn sons of bitches in this country want socialism, well, we need to give them socialism by regulating the things they love, all right? And look, that's what socialism is, you fucking numbnuts. For all you people that are bitching and moaning, like, oh, Ghost, I don't agree with you because of the video games, and I don't agree with this, and... Y'all wanted socialism? Well, here it comes, boy. Here it comes. Anyway, cheers to everybody out there who's listening, man. Cheers. Anyway, we are now in the second hour of the True Capitalist radio broadcast. And, of course, I am your host, the man they call Ghost. And once again, folks, I want to thank you very much for tuning in with me. Before we move on to anything else, I want to remind everybody to please spread this show link around like wildfire and let everybody you know across the internet and throughout the world, let them all know that True Capitalist Radio is in effect and in the house. And once again, we are live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Texas, United States time, right here on the official website of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And once again, I love being independent, baby, because I can say fuck, shit, faggot, dyke, all that crap. Anyway, type this in your browser, add this to your bookmarks, add this to your favorites, the following, ghost.report, all right? It's as simple as that. That's all you got to type in your browser right now, ghost.report. Add that to your bookmarks, add that to your favorites. That's the official website of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast, baby. And by the way, I got a couple articles coming up, probably going to be here by tomorrow, maybe the day after tomorrow. Nice reads with a lot of facts, a lot of links, so that everybody can get acquainted with actual factual information here, all right? Anyway, if you want to follow me on Gab, that is my social media of choice for the meantime. I'm thinking about being done with social media. I think social media is a cancer on social civil society. But if you want to follow me on Gab, the Gab name to follow is Politics Ghost. All one word, no underscores. Politics Ghost is the name to follow on Gab, folks. So now that we've got that all out of the way, let's go ahead and move on to the rest of the broadcast and the straight political dope. Let's go ahead and get to some President Trump news. Now, after all this, I feel the most bad for Donald Trump. I mean, you take a look at the landscape, as I've stated, I'm going to continue to say it, products of single mothers, feminists, faggots, dykes, gender benders, and weak fucking men, and man-children. You can't forget man-children in there. In the midst of this wave of these wastes of life groups of people, I feel sorry for the president the most. I mean, all I've done is I've done a broadcast for 10 years and, for nothing. I'm going to be honest with you, okay? Nobody's listening. Everybody's still playing their fucking video games. Everybody's still waxing their character cartoons. And that just proves that you're a fucking waste of life. But I feel bad for the president because the president sacrificed his wealth, his life, his family, his businesses, his legacy, etc., so that because he believed in this country, because he loved this country, he decided to sacrifice all that so that he could bring the country back to the people. But as you can see, take a look at the people, folks. They're a bunch of fucking morons. They're a bunch of morons. And the reason I say they're morons is because, folks, the Democratic Party, that's the Democratic Party today, is pro-globalists. They want open borders. They want, even the president is finally starting to say what I say verbatim. I heard him say it the other day, that the Democrats care more about illegal immigrants than they do about American citizens. And you can't say that's a lie. That's an absolute fact. That's why they go out and make sure that the cameras are in their face whenever they're talking about, oh, look, the poor immigrants, they just want an opportunity. They just want to be in here. That's all they want. Anyway, aside from that, folks, the president did visit France this weekend to commemorate 100 years since the World War I armistice. And I find it utterly disgusting that this stupid French frog president, Macron, the audacity of this fucking sex-abused faggot, I'm talking about President Macron, takes a cheap shot at Trump during the actual commemoration. He takes a cheap shot at Trump claiming that, quote, nationalism goes against patriotism. What? How the hell does that work? And then he reiterated it in a fucking tweet. On top of him, saying it right in front of everybody who attended the commemoration, he reiterated it in a tweet, this Emmanuel Macron. He says, oh, yes, patriotism is the exact opposite of nationalism. Nationalism is the betrayal of patriotism. By putting our own interests first, with no regard for others, we arrest the very thing that a nation holds dearest, and that's the thing that keeps it alive, its moral values. Moral values? What kind of fucking moral values do you French frogs have, you stupid, dumb French idiot? You're the same country that invented the blowjob. What kind of fucking moral values are you talking about, Macron, you stupid French frog? And you know what makes me sick? Is that the United States saved the French twice. We saved their asses twice, and this is the thanks we get. This is the thanks we get, for Christ's sake. So, you know what? Fuck you French pieces of trash. If you people in France are going to allow Macron to continue to speak for you in this globalist regard, then you French people are spitting on every French person that died for you to be in your current pissing ground of a country. What is Macron doing? Is he pissing on the French resistance that died for the patriotism of France? Is that what he's doing? Is he pissing on the French resistance? Because, this is exactly what he's saying. He's saying nationalism goes against patriotism. Hey, asshole, the French resistance were nationalist patriots that fought against the Nazis. And what are you saying? What are you saying, Macron? I mean, haven't y'all seen the movie Casablanca, for Christ's sake? That old movie with Humphrey Bogart and shit? I mean, that was a propagandist film, a propagandist patriot film for the French. I mean, it's a great movie. I mean, I wouldn't call it a romantic movie. I think the fucking romantic part is a joke. But, I mean, it was a great historical context movie. And they made it during World War II. I mean, it was a patriotic movie for the French. And what, Macron is taking yellow French bubbly piss on the French resistance and all those folks that fought and died to preserve the integrity of France? I can't believe it, man. I can't believe it. But what have I told you, folks? These globalists are showing their ugly heads now, aren't they, huh? Remember, folks, 10 years ago, if you said the word globalism, you were a conspiracy theorist? You were a nut job? Remember that? Remember, you said that there's globalists, the globalist society, and they're trying to take over the world. Oh, you conspiracy theorist. There are no globalist systems. Now they're coming out and saying it. They're proudly showing their globalism, for Christ's sake. And is that what you people want, you stupid, miserable idiots? I mean, you do understand that the reason why the European Union brought in these wild jihadist Yehudis is to not only force you dumb Europeans into submission and to accept totalitarianism, accept the consolidation of your countries into one superstate, but lest we forget that the globalists' intentions is to equally distribute the third world on a mass scale. They're trying to make the first world Western civilization into a technocratic third world society. Because if everyone lives in the third world, then everyone is going to be begging for a government system on a global scale to help them, to feed them, to clothe them, etc. And this is what's going to happen to America, folks, because you complacent pieces of shit, you goddamn products of single mothers, you goddamn feminist faggots, dykes, gender benders, man-children, weak men. This is the same thing that's going to happen to America. The same thing that's going to happen to America. But you idiots don't care, so long as you have your little fucking fruit bowl video games and your faggot cartoons. That's all that matters. Hey, I got cosplay. I'm going to Comic-Con, and I'm going to do cosplay because I'm a fucking can't grow up man-child fucking waste of life fucking loser. Great. Fucking great. I hope that you're fucking proud of yourselves. Your parents should be fucking neutered and castrated and pistol whipped as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, let's continue on with the Trump coverage here before I digress. Once again, Macron taking a shot at our president during the commemoration of the 100 years of the World War I armistice by claiming nationalism goes against patriotism. What a fucking ignorant, dumb son of a bitch. But hey, you French frogs, y'all wanted this guy, huh? So, croissant. Go ahead and keep him, all right? Go ahead and keep him. If any one of you French frogs had any goddamn integrity, you would do something about Macron, all right? And that's all I'm going to say about that. You'd be doing something to shut his ass up. Oh, no, nationalism goes against patriotism. Shut up, you fucking dumb croissant up the ass having faggot. Why don't you and your 65-year-old bag of bones go and get the hell out of France if you hate France so much, you stupid loser? But, of course, I don't think France has the ability to stand up. I don't think they have the type of men to lead a French resistance like they did in World War II. Because why? Because they're being bombarded by Somalians and Yehudis. Have you seen Paris in modern day? Have you seen Paris in modern day? There's tents all across the sidewalk with Somalians and Yehudis living in there. On the streets, in tents, on the sidewalks. There's open shit and piss all over the place. It's such a bad deal that the French have made a trash can piss can. I'm not joking. You know how, like, you have a trash can in the middle of, like, somewhere to throw a trash? You know, it's got a little lid in there. You you open the lid, you throw the trash in there, lid closes. No, they have a piss can now out there in France. So, you know, these stupid Somalians and these goddamn jihadist Jehudis, whenever they decide that they need to take a whiz, they can just stand, whip their fucking cocks out, put it in the trash can, and pee in the pee can. And I ain't talking about pecan pie, I'm talking about the piss can, all right? That's what's happening. That's France, all right? And that's soon coming to America. Watch. Mark my words. I said this was going to happen 10 years ago. I'm predicting the future now. Mark my words. We're going to have so many South American and Mexican immigrants, they're going to be living on the street. They're going to be camping out in tents in the middle of the street. You mark my words. And if it ain't them, it's going to be fucking you. It's going to be you weak men that have no way to take care of yourselves, and you're not going to know what the hell to do when mommy and daddy are finally dead and stop taking care of you. You people are going to be on the street, and you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be laughing at you. I'm going to be laughing at you. I'm going to be like, hey, you want a Game Boy, faggot? Stupid idiots. Anyway, let me move on, folks. More president news. The president calls for the Florida voting debacle, or actually, he calls the Florida voting debacle a massively infected. I don't know if you're familiar with what's going on in Florida, folks, but there's some nefarious shit once again going on in Florida. And where does it all come down to? Broward County. What have I told you about this ever since the Parkland school shootings? I said there was something seriously going on, seriously wrong in Parkland, Florida. There's something going on in Broward County. All right? Broward County. And, I mean, remember the Parkland shootings? Remember the mail bomber? The guy who lived out of his van in Broward County? And all of a sudden we're back once again with Broward County voting infected mishaps. Isn't this the same county, as I've stated in the previous broadcast, that everybody had a discrepancy on in the year 2000 during the Bush-Gore elections? Do you remember that? Y'all remember that shit? I mean, come on, man. I mean, lest we forget that in the year 2000, when Bush and Gore were running for president, it came down once again to Broward County. I mean, shouldn't this county be investigated? Shouldn't this county be investigated in more ways than one? Than what kind of corrupt cabal they've got going on over there? What kind of sick fucking games they're playing? And by the way, did you hear about the person in charge of the elections down there in Broward County? Some black old bimbo by the name of Brenda Ghetto-fied Snipes. That's right, Brenda Snipes. I call her ghetto-fied because you couldn't get a more ghetto-fied woman in a position of power than this stupid piece of trash right here. I'm not even kidding, all right? Anyway, Brenda Ghetto-fied Snipes, the supervisor of elections of Broward County, is now at the center of this voter fraud nonsense. And every time they put a microphone in this woman's face, she's like, I ain't got nothing to say, baby. I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing. But how many votes need to still be counted since you are in charge of elections? I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing. And that's what she's been saying the whole time, and she's sticking to it. But if we take a look back at this so-called supervisor of elections in Broward County, Brenda Ghetto-fied Snipes, she has been reprimanded twice by courts, all right? Once in May for illegally destroying ballots during the 2016 Democratic primary. That's a violation of state and federal law, mind you. And then again in August for illegally opening mail ballots in secret. And yet, folks, here this broad is at the center of attention as it relates to this Broward County. We have to recount the votes, baby. We got to recount the votes. And not to mention, 80,000 votes came out of nowhere in Broward County, and that's why they're talking about a recount. And you know the kind of recount they're talking about, folks? They're talking about allowing illegal ballots to be counted. Illegal ballots to be counted. For instance, if they were made by non-U.S. citizens, ballots that were made by the same person, because believe it or not, they have found discrepancies in this recount in which one person voted about 12 times, and believe it or not, they still want to count those votes. And you see, you've got the fucking leftist bullshit enemy of the American people media, because, folks, the fucking media is the enemy of the people. They're trying to claim that there is no controversy here, that there is no proof of voter fraud, that there is no proof of any of this shit. Bullshit! Bullshit! And the president has threatened to get involved in this if this doesn't culminate into some sort of legitimate end. All right? I mean, and once again, what is Brenda Ghetto-fied Snipes still doing as the damn supervisor of elections? And I agree with the True Capitalist Radio chat room. How come she's not in jail yet? How come this woman is not in jail? You know what, folks? In 2016, the Democrats claimed that Russians were meddling into the elections. It wasn't Russians. I've always told you. You can look back in the archive. It was the Democrats themselves, and the Democrats are the ones right now jeopardizing the integrity of our voting system. They, the Democrats, are jeopardizing the integrity of how we elect our leaders. They're the ones desecrating our country. They're the ones desecrating our voting system. It wasn't Russia. It's not Vladimir Pooty-Poo. It's the Democrats. And you know what, folks? People are so stupid in America that they don't realize that, or don't want to realize that, or fucking don't understand it. Whatever. Whatever. I mean, it's pathetic. I mean, they're still hollering about Russia Trump to this day when it is they, the Democrats, that are jeopardizing the integrity of our voting system. And is any of you people, and the reason I'm talking is any of you people, because y'all motherfuckers, y'all are ghetto now, I guess, you know what I mean? Y'all out there, y'all are putting in people in power like Brenda Ghetto-fied Snipes and shit, baby. I mean, are you people, are you going to stop playing video games? Are y'all going to stop waxing your character cartoons so that you can cause a ruckus on this egregious attempt at trying to literally degrade the integrity of our voting system? I think not. I think not, folks. And it's a shame. It's a goddamn shame. And you know what's even more shady about this whole thing? That Andrew Gillum, the black man, the progressive black man running for goddamn governor, who conceded to Ron DeSantis, now is like, no, baby, I recant my conceding, man. I recant conceding my campaign, baby. I want all votes to be counted now, baby. You understand? You're not understanding. I'm Andrew Gillum. My kids, baby. I ran for my kids, baby. And one more thing, folks. Not only do we have voting discrepancies here in Florida, we also have some in Arizona in the Senate seat between McSally and Sinema. And once again, Sinema sounds like a goddamn disgusting gay pornographic theater. But, you know, the people of Arizona are going to allow some broad. And you know what the thing about it is with Sinema in Arizona? Sinema called Arizona the meth house of America. The meth lab of America. And these stupid idiot nuclear waste dump dirt living people in Arizona still voted her in. I'm telling you, you people in Arizona can go fuck yourselves. I'm not even kidding. You people are trash. And you want to know why I can make that generalized assumption of you people being trash? Because of the people you elect. I mean, what do you got, Jeff Flake, that crooked-nosed, crooked-faced piece of shit that's going to come out here? You know what, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pass a law to try to protect Robert Mueller. I'm against Trump because I'm going to pretend that I'm a down-the-middle son of a bitch, even though my nose is crooked as my goddamn life. I'm going to be a down-the-middle politician, and I'm going to try to make a run for 2020. You people are idiots in Arizona. I'm serious. You people are nothing more than nuclear waste dump aftermath. That's what you people are. You make me sick, and I spit on fucking Arizona, and I will never, ever, ever go to Arizona in my life. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. Go fuck yourselves, Arizona. I hope a nuclear waste dump, I hope the nuclear waste seeps through the goddamn floor and infects you people with radiation. Y'all can all die off like the pieces of trash that you are. Now, aside from Arizona, we also got, and look, isn't it funny, folks, and I'm talking about the Georgia governor race, okay? For whatever reason, all right, the big black woman, I forgot her name, but she's so black and fat and greasy, I couldn't even believe that this woman was running for goddamn governor. But why do the two governor races that are still in question have, quote, progressive black candidates who refuse to concede and continue to get Democrat lawyers and want recounts? And, I mean, this doesn't make black folks on the left look very good, doesn't it? I mean, it doesn't make black folks on the left look very good. It's making them look like the folks from Black Lives Matter. You know, bitching and moaning, and they ain't going to stop bitching and moaning. I mean, I can't believe that bitch from Georgia, that fat black bitch from Georgia, will not concede the election. It's just a shame. It's a shame. But why is it that the two governors' races still in question have progressive black candidates? Is that a coinkydink? Is that just a little bit of a coinkydink? I don't know. I don't know. But why is it? Why is that a correlation? Can somebody explain that to me? Anyway, let me move on, for Christ's sake. Let's talk a little bit about the California wildfires, huh? Hey, man, look, I have to give it to base Trump. I got to give it to my president. He fucking slapped these stupid Californians right in their stupid liberal faces, all right? Now, the California wildfires, according to the president, was due to forestry mismanagement. And the president has decided to, I don't know if he's decided yet, but he's thinking about cutting federal funds to California because of these massive forest fires that are, they're affecting Malibu homes, and actors have to leave their homes, and I don't feel sorry for these ungrateful assholes in California one fucking bit, all right? I don't feel sorry for you people that are suffering from these wildfires in California. I don't feel sorry for you. You called this on yourselves. And why do I say that, folks? Because lest we forget that these same Californians were touting that state law supersedes federal law when it comes to sanctuary cities. Remember that? Remember, they're like, we're not acknowledging the federal government. We're obeying our own laws. We're obeying our own sanctuary cities. We're going to continue to have illegal immigrants come into our California cities, and we're not going to acknowledge the federal government, okay? Remember that? Remember California also saying, you know what, we're not going to acknowledge Trump leaving the Paris Climate Accord agreement. We're not acknowledging that. California's going to continue to acknowledge the Paris Climate Change Agreement, okay? We don't care about the federal government. Our state government supersedes federal government, assholes. Remember all that? Now, all of a sudden, they've got some massive goddamn forest fires that was probably, a result of their forestry mismanagement. And now, all of a sudden, now they want the federal government to come in all of a sudden for help, huh? I mean, are you kidding me? Now, all of a sudden, the federal government is important when they need something, right? They were big fucking rebels about how they thought that their state laws superseded federal law. They were so big and badass that thought they could do everything on their own. Remember Cal Exit? Remember they wanted to secede? Remember all that shit? Now that they are under some major problems with this forest fire, now all of a sudden they want federal government help, huh? How millennial of them. How millennial of I want to be honest with you, man. I love the smell of burnt fried Californian in the morning, you know? Hey, you brought this on yourselves, all right? You all brought this on yourselves. Remember about, 50 years ago? Remember when you leftists used to say that federal law supersedes state law when it came to the Civil Rights Act, when it came to, you have to acknowledge gay rights and gay hate crimes because federal hate crime laws supersede California state laws, okay? Now, all of a sudden, because they want to protect illegal immigrants, and they wanted to do their own independent thing as it pertained to the Paris Climate Accord and all this other shit, now all of a sudden they're bitching and moaning how they want federal aid and they need some help from the federal government. Get the fuck out of here, California. You know what I'm saying? Here, let me give you some advice, Californians. Y'all want help on trying to stop these fires? I'll tell you how y'all can do it, all right? Y'all can go together, since y'all all want to be communist, socialist, or some variant of collectivism therein. You should all gather around the fire, all right? Take your wee-wees out and start peeing on the fire so that you can collectively stop the fire yourselves, okay? Oh, my God. And you know what's even more ironic about these California fires? Is that California has a water shortage problem. All right, California's got a water shortage problem, and now they've got to use, I don't know how much amounts of water to put out this fire. Oh, my God. Hey, anybody for some California barbecue? Oh, my God. Oh, my God, man, that is funny. I'm telling you right now, I have no fucking goddamn any kind of sympathy whatsoever for you Californian pieces of trash. I remember very vividly when we were getting hit up by a hurricane out here in Texas. Many people on Twitter from California were wishing that a lot of people in Houston were to die. They were wishing death on Texans as a hurricane approached. I think it was Hurricane Harvey, wasn't it? Hurricane Harvey approached Texas. I remember all these Californian pieces of trash hoping for our deaths. And you know what we did? Before the government came in and tried to help us, we went out and helped ourselves. And there was no color, there was no racial divide, nothing. We helped each other because we were Texans. That's why. And before the goddamn government assistance could even come to Texas, we were helping ourselves. There was barely anybody to help. There was barely anybody to help because we were helping ourselves. We were protecting businesses ourselves. Even though they weren't our businesses, people had enough concern about looting and about things of that nature that we helped ourselves. We're Texans. We do things individually. We don't wait for the government. Oh, I need the government to come in and help. Oh, I need fucking help. Please help me. Well, you know what? All I got to say to California is, burn, baby, burn! And listen, you brought this on yourselves. You morons thought that your state government and your sanctuary cities, your obliging of the Paris Climate Accord and everything else, you thought that your state laws superseded federal laws. You wanted to defy the federal government. You wanted to defy Trump. Well, now you have to deal with the consequences on your own. And that's all there is to it, California. Why don't you go to your local representatives like that fucking Schiff asshole and Kamala Harris and all that? Why don't you go ask them to help put out your fucking fire, all right? Fucking pieces of California trash. Like I'm supposed to care. Like I'm supposed to care. Hey, why don't all of you Californians, like I said, since y'all want to be a collective state, all right, why don't you all go and gather around the fire, all right? Make sure you got a full bladder, all right? Pull out your wee-wees and start spraying piss on the fire so you can collectively put it out, all right? And not only will you be helping putting out the fire, but your goddamn piss will actually have more contribution to the land than you do, because at least your piss will actually putting nutrients into the ground. Oh, God. Oh, Jesus Christ. I love smelling burnt California in the morning, man. I'm telling you. I'm loving this. I'm loving this so much. Please burn more houses in Malibu, all right? Burn them all! Burn them all! I'm loving this, all right? I'm loving this. And by the way, for you people that are getting offended about what I'm saying, you know what I'm doing? I'm practicing my First Amendment freedom of speech. All right? While we still have it. While we still fucking have it, baby. Anyway, let me move on. I just wanted to make that point that all of a sudden California is getting all butthurt because the president said, hey, this whole goddamn forest fire is due to forestry mismanagement, and I should cut your funding for being so fucking unproductive to prevent something like this from happening. And now Californians are pissing and moaning. Well, keep pissing and moaning, you fucking pieces of trash. No one cares. You notice that? Most of the country doesn't care because you people think that you're so great. Figure it out yourself, California. Figure the shit out yourself, you fucking ungrateful pieces of trash. Sick of you Californian trash, man. I want to smell California barbecue over here in Texas, baby. So burn, baby, burn. And by the way, it's burning so bad out there, baby. Did y'all see the Laker game? Huh? Oh, man, the Laker game inside the arena was filled with a smoke haze, a smoky little haze, huh? Oh, man, I'm sorry I'm taking so much glee in this, but I'm glad it couldn't happen to a better group of people. I'm talking about those people in Malibu, all the stars that were out there talking garbage about Trump, talking garbage about Trump supporters and trying to be so political. I'm glad you people, all your houses are burnt down to the ground. Your fucking mansions, your fucking little Malibu homes on by the beach. I'm glad you fucking stupid wannabe celebrity pieces of trash. Burn, baby, burn. I love it. I'm loving it, for Christ's sake. Anyway, let me move on, folks. Let's talk a little bit about how the Democrats begin their resistance, quote-unquote, ahead of taking control of the House. Did y'all hear what the Democrats are going to do now? Do you think that now that you elected them that they're going to help the everyday American people? Do you think that because you elected Democrats that they're going to help the po in America? That they're going to help teachers and all that bullshit that they all give you? Do you think they're going to help you? No. No, for the next 2 years, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. I mean, they're already telling us what's going to happen. The Democrats say, and I don't know if y'all heard about this, that they have a subpoena cannon. This is what they said. They've got a subpoena cannon of 85-plus Trump targets. Huh? How do you like that? Huh, Democrats? You elected a bunch of Democrats because you think that they're going to care about you? You think that they're going to somehow help you? They're not going to help you. They're going to help themselves politically because all the Democrats want is power to expand globalism. To expand globalism, baby. All right? Oh, my God. Anyway, listen. Democrats, once again, say they have a subpoena cannon of 85-plus people that are Trump targets for subpoena. Now, why do they use the term target, considering that these people are talking about the violence in the political spectrum and the violent shooting that supposedly happened in Thousand Oaks, California? And why do they continue to use this language, folks? Because they are stoking the violence. It is the Democrats stoking the political violence out here. I mean, case in point, Tucker Carlson, man. Let me tell you, I love Tucker Carlson. I love Tucker Carlson because he's what a conservative man should be. You know, I mean, he's a well-rounded, articulate, educated. I mean, he's just a great person. I love Tucker Carlson. He's the last person that I would think that is racist in any regard. And yet you had Antifa show up at his house, vandalize his house, trying to break down the door because, he's Tucker Carlson, and he's talking against the left, and we've got to show him. I guarantee you, folks, if that had happened to me, if that had happened to anybody in Texas, I'm going to tell you right now, if that happened to me, I'm going to tell you all this right goddamn now. If there was a group of goddamn posholes, feminists, faggots, and man-children from Antifa coming to my house thinking that they're going to stand there and intimidate me, I'm going to pull out the chopper. I'm not even kidding. I'll pull out the fucking chopper and start blasting. And do you think that I'd have one sense of remorse killing these fucking wastes of life that are fucking trying to infringe violence upon me? Absolutely not. And I encourage everybody who has a legal gun, where you've got Antifa trying to intimidate you in front of your home, in front of your work, in front of anywhere, to just pull out and start blasting. All right? And I guarantee you, when you start seeing massive amounts of Antifa bleeding on the floor dead because of their violence, I guarantee you they ain't going to be doing these types of tactics anymore. And as I've stated, folks, Antifa, what is Antifa? Honestly, what the fuck is Antifa? It's the LGBTQ. That's what it is. It's products of single mothers. It's feminists, faggots, dykes, gender benders, man-children, and weak men. That's why they have to consolidate power into making sure that there's 30 or 40 of these faggots that show up to your house so that they can intimidate you. And they bring all kinds of weapons to try to intimidate you. That's why I'm saying, you do that to me, if anybody ever found out who I was, I'm going to be honest with you, you come to my house, I will have no problem pulling out the chopper and fucking start mowing you fuckers down like I was goddamn Eric Klebold, baby. You understand? Like Eric Harris, Derek Klebold. I'd be like, pah! And the bad part about it is that once I'm doing this, there's going to be AIDS blood all over my neighborhood, for Christ's sake, and it's going to be a biohazard situation. So, I mean, you got to take the good with the bad, I guess. I don't know. I don't know, for Christ's sake. And, folks, I want to make this clear. I was not always against the LGBTQ, folks. You can look back in my archive. Remember? I extended my hand in friendship, of course, with a rubber glove on it. I extended my hand with friendship with a rubber glove to the LGBTQ, and you know what they did? They threw AIDS blood at me. That's what they did. They threw AIDS blood at me. I'm serious. I had fucking transgenders in the inner circle, and you know what? They all went nuts. You know, one of them cut their wee-wees off and thinks that they're now... I'm not kidding, folks. I am not kidding around. This is not a joke. I had a transgender that cut their wee-wee off, and now they play soccer or some shit for some university as a girl. And they're writing articles about this tranny like, oh, look, this transgendered is breaking the mold. It's breaking the stigma of trans in sports. I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. You know what else I had in the inner circle? I had a fucking hermaphrodite. I had a fucking hermaphrodite in the goddamn inner circle, okay? Now, would this hermaphrodite talk about anything else besides sex? No. As a matter of fact, this hermaphrodite, every time it was late night in the inner circle, this hermaphrodite would try to, show off the estrogen-induced tits that it had. It looked horrible, man. I mean, those were disgusting tits I've ever seen, for Christ's sake. They looked like goddamn Harry Carey's eyeballs, for Christ's sake, man. You know, you had one tit looking at you and another tit looking at the time on the wall, for Christ's sake. She would put that in the inner circle. I don't know why. But once again, these gays, they want to literally show their sexuality because that's what defines them as a goddamn human being. Not if they're a loyal person, not if they're a nice person, not if they have any kind of values. No, they are trying to sell their sexuality. And by the way, I want to be completely honest. She or it, I don't know what the hell it was, some hermaphrodite. This hermaphrodite actually sent its private parts to people in the inner circle. I'm not kidding. It was in private. She didn't send it, or it didn't send it to me. It sent it to everybody else. I'm glad I never saw it, but from what people have suggested and what people have described, it was like something that looked like a penis head coming out of the what was supposed to be like kind of a vagina a little bit. Like so you saw like the penis head come out of the vagina, and then there was a little hole at the bottom. And it looked like a bad claymation experiment or something. I'm not kidding around. And believe it or not, you also had people... Look, I'm not going to go in there. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that these LGBTQ morons are the ones that are now going crazy. And if you want my opinion on why they're going crazy, they're going crazy because they've got the AIDS. And look, you can look this up, folks. If you've got the AIDS, it deteriorates your brain. It makes you go crazy. I mean, that's the first thing that starts to go when you got the AIDS, is the deterioration of your brain. That's why they're all not thinking properly. And as a matter of fact, aside from the AIDS, this goddamn drug Truvada, and this is according to many people that were a part of the inner circle that were trans and all this other shit, because they took Truvada. They said that Truvada, quote, makes you a little loopy. Makes you a little loopy, for Christ's sake. So that says to me that this PrEP or P-Rep Truvada drug that they give to the AIDS to prevent them from getting a pos load, it's obviously inducing something mentally in these sick sons of bitches. So, I mean, I'm just saying, folks, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to digress, all right? I did not mean to digress here, but I'm just saying, this is what this is all about. Oh, my God. Anyway, let me move on, for Christ's sake, before... I mean, I'm grossing people out here. I'm sorry, I'm just telling you all the truth, okay? I'm just telling you all the goddamn truth. For Christ's sake. Anyway, what else are the Democrats going to do when they take the House? Well, they claim, the Democrats, that Matthew Whitaker, the man, who was recently appointed as the interim Attorney General at the DOJ, has a conflict of interest and should not be the Attorney General. Can you believe this? Matthew Whitaker, which is a man who I don't understand why he has a conflict of interest, because he didn't believe in the Mueller investigation. I mean, where were the Democrats when they never complained about Rod Rosenstein's conflict of interest? I mean, don't you realize that it was Rosenstein that wrote a memo to Trump suggesting that he fire Comey, and then when he fired Comey, Rosenstein then used that as a means to appoint Robert Mueller's special counsel? And meanwhile, Rod Rosenstein, by doing that, not only is he a conflict of interest, he's a part of the investigation. Rosenstein is a part of the investigation. And why was he able to oversee the goddamn Robert Mueller special counsel? Why wasn't Rod Rosenstein not only removed, why isn't Rod Rosenstein prosecuted for pulling off such a conflict of interest? You didn't hear one iota from the Democrats as it pertains to Rod Rosenstein and his conflict of interest. As a matter of fact, when you had House Republicans in the House Intel Committee and the Judiciary Committee attempt to try to subpoena this guy to talk in front of these committees, he didn't even show up. So does that mean that if the Democrats try this subpoena cannon that they claim that they're going to do with 85-plus Trump targets, does that mean that those Trump targets don't have to show up to the subpoena? Because that's what Rosenstein did. Rod Rosenstein did not show up when the House Intel and the House Judiciary Committee subpoenaed this son of a bitch so that he could testify, Rod Rosenstein never showed up. And did we hear the Democrats called for a removal of Rosenstein, who not only has a conflict of interest, he's a part of the fucking investigation. Oh, God. This just goes to show you how fucking corrupt and pathetic these goddamn Democrats are. And I hope Matthew Whitaker withstands the onslaught. I hope he stays as the interim AG, because this is the trick. You see, when Trump attempts to appoint a new attorney general, the Democrats are going to try their damnedest to not appoint that attorney general. Now, the longer they prolong Donald Trump from actually having an attorney general, the interim attorney general, Matthew Whitaker, is going to continue to stay in the power. And you see, Matthew Whitaker is open to creating a new special counsel to investigate the goddamn Clinton email scandal. And that's why you have the Democrats trying to remove this guy as the interim attorney general. And I hope that Matthew Whitaker stays in there and appoints a second special counsel to not only investigate the Clinton administration, or excuse me, the Clinton email investigation, but should also investigate Robert Mueller himself. I'm sick and tired of both sides of the political spectrum claiming that Robert Mueller is some kind of sacred cow of honesty. He is not, all right? He is not. Lest we forget that he was the goddamn FBI director during 9/11/2001. Lest we forget that it was Robert Mueller's FBI that confiscated every video that had a vantage point of the Pentagon after the 9/11 attacks. And this is a fact, folks. You can look this up. They confiscated every goddamn video from every hotel, from every gas station, everywhere within the vicinity of the Pentagon was confiscated. And, you know, we would like to know where that video footage is, because it would give us a little bit more insight on what actually hit the fucking Pentagon. But, of course, Robert Mueller, you know, he's a cleanup man for the fucking bureaucrats in this sick, disgusting Washington, D.C. He decided to just go ahead and confiscate those. Who's looking? No one's going to ask any questions. That's all there is to it. I mean, lest we forget, folks, I wrote an article on Ghost.Report that you can find right now, in which I highlight Robert Mueller he admitted in a 2002 CBS interview that it was his incompetence that could have prevented 9/11. That had he not been as incompetent, he could have prevented 9/11. He admitted it in a CBS article in 2002. And folks, 9/11/2001 was the biggest terrorist attack on American soil. How come no one, and I repeat, no one has been held accountable for 9/11/2001? Can you explain this? How come no one has been held accountable? How come the CIA director at the time, George Tenet, how come he wasn't held responsible? How come the FBI director at the time, Robert Mueller, how come he wasn't held responsible? How come anyone wasn't held responsible? And lest we forget, thank you for reminding me in the chat room. What's going on to the True Capitalist Radio chat room, by the way? Uranium One. Remember? Uranium One, when the Obama administration, in conjunction with the Hillary Clinton State Department, sold massive amounts of uranium to Russia. To Russia. And who was in charge of the FBI over this sale of uranium? Robert Mueller. So, for all you idiots that are out there continuously harping on the fact that Robert Mueller is this epicenter of honesty, give me a fucking break. And you know what's unfortunate? Is that all the facts are out there. You can look everything up that I just mentioned to you on the internet. They haven't taken it down. They've got to tell you this. But even though all the facts are out there, folks, people are too busy getting their fucking thumbs bruised on video games, waxing their carrots to cartoons, fucking memeing on 4chan, and doing all this fucking wasting your life bullshit that, you know, there's not enough outcry for these blatant, and I mean blatant, forms of vulgar display of power. That's why these guys know that they can get away with this type of evil shit. That's why they know. So once again, I hope that Matthew Whitaker, the appointed interim Attorney General at the DOJ, stays in, and I hope that he does appoint a special prosecutor as it relates to the Hillary Clinton email scandal, because we want justice. We want justice for the crimes, the many crimes that the Clinton crime family has conducted. And you know as well as I that these Clintons have committed massive crimes and high crimes and misdemeanors. Is how you say it. And you know what? Guess what was put out today, since we're talking about Hillary Rotten Clinton? Hillary Clinton plans on running again in 2020. Oh, you fucking kidding me? Oh, my God, are you kidding me? Are we going to replay 2016 all over again, for Christ's sake? Hillary Clinton plans on running again in 2020. Now, why does she think she can run again? Because according to Democratic Insider polls, she has a 75% favorable rating amongst Democrats. Can you believe that? Huh? Good God. 75% approval rating amongst Democrats, old Hillary Rotten Clinton out here, even though she's lost. She lost in 2008. She's lost again in 2016. I mean, come on! Come on, for Christ's sake. Give me a fucking break, all right? She's going to run. I want an investigation into her emails, for Christ's sake. I know what she did. I know what she did, folks. I mean, do we have to revisit this? Why did she have an email server in a fucking bathroom somewhere that was outside the State Department? Because she didn't want to be privy to any Freedom of Information Act request for any information pertaining to what the fuck she was doing. And secondly, lest we forget that according to James Comey's testimony himself, that there were many foreign actors that hacked that damn email, and they don't know what the hell they took. They don't know what the hell, I mean, at least according to Comey, they don't know what the hell happened. And you want to know what really happened, folks? Hillary Clinton not only had that damn email server in a bathroom because she wanted to go outside the Freedom of Information Act, she was putting private classified information on that email server, and it was there to be hacked. So she could have plausible deniability for giving away classified information unknowing to her because she happened to put it on this goddamn email server that was in a fucking closet or a bathroom or wherever the hell it was, for Christ's sake. That's what this is all about. I mean, it's as easy as fucking pie to see this. She gets payments through the Clinton Foundation. She gets payments through the Clinton Foundation, and conveniently classified information ends up on this email. Huh? Huh? I mean, and then it's hackable enough for any foreign entity to come in, get the information, and come out. So it absolves Hillary Clinton of any kind of liability for this. And that's why you had James Comey brush that shit under the table. Even though he admitted, James Comey, he admitted that she put classified information on that email server and that foreign actors accessed the goddamn email server, for Christ's sake. And it was in his goddamn testimony. This is why we need a special counsel to investigate just as much as Robert Mueller is investigating this Russia-Trump nonsense, which has produced nothing in almost 2 years. Nothing. It has produced nothing. Not one iota of evidence of any kind of connection between Russia and Trump. We need a special counsel to investigate this Clinton email scandal. I'll tell you that right damn now. And aside from Hillary Clinton thinking that she wants to run again for 2020, this is according to her people. That people that work with her, like I think Mark Penn said that this morning on the, on Fox News. I forgot which news show it was, but he's the one out here saying, hey, I've heard it through the grapevine that Hillary Clinton wants to run again, 2020, baby. She's got 75% approval rating amongst Democrats, which far beats anyone who has suggested that they want to run for president in the Democratic Party. So that's why she thinks she's got a shot. She's like a fucking bad case of herpes, man. She just never seems to go away. I mean, wasn't this woman on her last legs, health-wise? Remember, she couldn't even do any more than a couple of goddamn rallies, and she could never stand up. She'd had to sit back. She could only talk for 15 minutes and have to have somebody else talk for her. Remember, she would pass out. There was all kinds of... I mean, she's going to run again in 2020, for Christ's sake? You Democrats are idiots, man. And guess who else the Democrats are calling to run in 2020? Beto O'Rourke. Oh, fucking hell. God, good God. Beto O'Rourke. They want Beto O'Rourke to run for president even though he lost to an unpopular Republican candidate for Senate. I mean, lest we forget, El Rato, Ted Cruz, was not the most popular Republican candidate out here, folks. Remember, people still don't, they still have a bad taste in their mouth because this guy would not let go of the 2016 presidential primary and all the politics intermixed therein. Remember, it took him a long time to get over things. And people in Texas remember that, and they remember that very vividly. That's why, if you want my opinion, the election was so close here in America. Or here in Texas, I should say. Here in Texas. Sorry about that. And they want Beto O'Rourke to run for president for what? What is Beto O'Rourke going to do? First of all, doesn't he go against the whole leftist idea of cultural appropriation? I mean, isn't that what Beto O'Rourke is doing? He's culturally appropriating the Mexican culture and then, like, over-tanning himself, pretending that he's some kind of a Mexican. I mean, folks, this guy is a white Irishman. His name is Robert O'Rourke. His father was Pat O'Rourke. Pat O'Rourke, and lest we forget, this guy's got a lot of baggage, okay? He comes from a very corrupt family that has links to cartels, in my opinion, okay? I mean, lest we forget that Beto O'Rourke's father, Pat O'Rourke, they found cocaine in his dashboard, and he claimed, I don't know how that got there. I don't know how that got... Somebody must have put that there. All right, hey, Sheriff's Department, you'll take care of it. You'll cover it up, right? And they covered it up for him, and he did nothing. He did no time, nothing. And this is while Pat O'Rourke was a judge. Now, on a side note, Pat O'Rourke, I'm talking about Beto O'Rourke's father, was killed in a hit-and-run accident while he was biking around like a fucking leftist faggot, okay? And, of course, there's no suspects on who hit him. And if you want my opinion, I think it was drug cartels. I think it was, some payback for some money he may have stole or some cocaine he may have stole. Who knows? But Beto O'Rourke's mother, Melissa, lest we forget that this woman was busted for money laundering. She was busted for money laundering. She was busted. She had to plead guilty. She's lucky she didn't do time. And who the hell was she money laundering for? Who else would you money launder for in fucking El Paso? Fucking drug lords, cartels, etc. And this asshole O'Rourke wants to run? Bring it on, you fucking dumb ripoff of... and let me tell you, he's a cheap ripoff. A fucking sad ripoff of Barack Obama. You know, that's what most of these young idiot fucking politicians on the left are starting to do. They're starting to rip off Obama's cadence and the way he talked and the vernacular. Not only is Beto O'Rourke fit this category, and he's... At least Obama sounded inspiring when he read a teleprompter. This guy sounds like an idiot. And you know who else is doing this? We got a guy out here in San Antonio, Texas, named Julian Castro, the Mexican golden boy. He sounds the same way as goddamn O'Rourke, a bunch of Obama ripoffs that can't even find their own tenor, that can't even find their own voice. This is the Democratic Party, for Christ's sake. Jesus Christ. Anyway, we are 2 minutes into the third and final hour of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast, and of course, I am your host, the man they call Ghost, and once again, folks, I want to thank you very much for tuning in with me. Before we get started on anything, I'd like to remind everybody to please spread this show link around like wildfire and let everybody you know across the internet and throughout the world, let everybody you know across the internet, let them know right here. All right, Ghost.report is the official website of the political underground, baby. If you are listening to the sound of my voice, I guarantee you are listening to the true political underground. Let everybody know. Ghost.report. That's all you got to type in your browser. http://ghost.report. Type that in your browser, add that to your bookmarks, add that to your favorites, baby. All right? And by the way, if you want to go ahead and follow me on Gab, I'm not very happy with Gab at this point. We all know why. Go ahead and follow me on Gab under the name Politics Ghost. All one word, no underscores. Politics Ghost is the name to follow. And why am I mad at Gab? Aside from the fact that they had no backup plan, no contingency plan for the things that have happened to them, they owe me $600. Am I supposed to just fucking forget about that? Fucking goddamn it, Torba! Give me my fucking money! You fucking goddamn shekel gruber! That was Hitler's last name, by the way, for all y'all that don't know. Shekel Gruber was Hitler's last. It was his real last name, Shekel Gruber. I want my money, Torba. All right, $600 fucking bucks. I want my money. All right. You fucking people took it out. Y'all had no problem charging fucking 30% on the fucking transaction. I want my money, you fucking piece of crap. Anyway, I want to say what's up to the True Capitalist Radio chat room. What's going on to everybody in there? Let me go ahead and give some shout-outs to the people that are in there chilling with me right now. What's going on to Hoodie, Aquilian, Cuck the Zuck? We've got Distilling, Great Gains in the house, Holden Capitalist, Jingo Bert. We got Man Bear Pig, Metaform, Nason in the house, Nat in the place, Nationalist Master Race in the house, Pepe the Frog, Stagio. We got Trump and Capitalist in the house, and what's going on to Hans? Anyway, we've got all these people in here. Thank you very much for tuning in with me to the True Capitalist Radio broadcast on this Monday. Anyway, let's move on. We've talked about all this already. We talked about the Democrats and what they're going to do and all this other stuff. All right? Let's go ahead and move on here, all right? Let's go ahead and move on. Let's talk a little bit about the caravan, huh? Yeah, the caravan of immigrants. You know, the ones that the Democrats downplayed. Remember? The threat that they downplayed. Remember Obama? He was like, you know, these people over here, they're just coming in. They're 1,000 miles away. They're a bunch of poor people. It's a bunch of kids, and it's a bunch of women. Shut up, Obama, you fucking traitor. All right, and by the way, can you tell your tranny to shut her goddamn cocksucker up? I'm sick of hearing of Michelle Obama, all right? Look, broad, or it, or transgender, two-spirited, whatever the fuck you are, Michelle, we know you're a tranny, all right? All right, why don't you come out of the closet already and admit that you have a ding-a-ling? I'm tired of fucking playing the charade with these people. I mean, lest we forget, once again, I got to bring this up, that Joan Rivers said publicly that everyone knows that Michelle Obama is a tranny. Y'all remember when Joan Rivers said that? She said, come on, we all know, everyone knows that Michelle Obama is a tranny. She said it, Joan Rivers, and guess what? A month later, after Joan Rivers said that Michelle Obama was a tranny, she ended up dead. She ended up dead. Look it up. I'm not joking, for Christ's sake. Joan Rivers called out Michelle for what it was, and it was a man, baby. It was a man. Not to mention, have you seen the dance on Ellen? Remember she did that dance on Ellen? She had those, like, you know, loose white pants, and you could see her fucking ding-a-ling bouncing around. And what a fucking lazy-ass tranny. Aren't you supposed to tuck your sack back or tape the fucking cock to your ass crack or something? Aren't you supposed to do something to hide that, Michelle? What a fucking lazy-ass tranny, for Christ's sake. I remember it very vividly, Michelle. All right, and if you're going to run for president, I want to make sure that you're a woman. All right? And look, she realizes, I'm talking about Michelle Obama, she realizes that people are starting to recognize that this is not a woman, that this is a man. So she had to come out in this stupid fucking book of hers claiming that, oh, I had a bunch of miscarriages, so I had to have intravitreal fertilization because I could not do anything. I had to conceive Melania and my other Brad because I was artificially inseminated because of miscarriages. You don't need intravitreal fertilization because of goddamn miscarriages. You do it because either your husband's shooting blanks or for whatever reason your eggs ain't dropping. All right? I mean, it's as simple as that. Your eggs ain't dropping or Barack Obama's shooting blanks. So she had to make some kind of an excuse on why none of their children look like her or look like Barack Obama. They don't look like any of them. They do not look like any of them. And like I said, show me a picture of Michelle Obama pregnant. You can't find one. You cannot find a fucking picture of Michelle Obama pregnant. So that's why she's like, well, I had to have IVF so that I can, conceive my daughters. And, that's why her book is called Becoming Michelle, huh? Becoming Michelle. That's great, isn't it? Oh, my God. Fucking wake up. All right, wake up. Anyway, I was talking about this caravan of immigrants that the Democrats were downplaying out here. Now, they have now reached Mexico City, and they're moving on. Now, they're not too far away from our American border, lest we forget. And this caravan of immigrants is going to reach our border, and what are we going to do about it? What the hell are we going to do about it, folks? Are we just going to let them in? What are we going to do? Are we going to, give them a catch and release? I mean, we have no immigration reform. We have no protocol to deal with these people. I mean, and look, I want to be honest with you, okay? This migrant caravan, this immigrant caravan is being helped by the Mexican government, and if it isn't being held by the Mexican government is allowing outside parties to help this caravan. They're giving them bus rides. They're making them meals. They're giving them water. I mean, give me a break. I mean, these people have trekked over, what was it, an estimated 12 to 1,500 miles by foot? Give me a break. Now, with that being said, even though that, Mexico is having a lackadaisical approach to dealing with this damn caravan, and look, most of the people in this caravan are from South America. They're from Guatemala. And look, regardless of what the mainstream media tells you, there are other people outside of South America that are in this caravan, that are from the Middle East, that are from Africa. I'm not kidding. There are all kinds of different immigrants in this caravan that think they're going to come into this country. And they even said if they are denied entrance, they're going to do whatever it takes to come into this country. There was a movie about this. I talked about this in the chat rooms that I've got here. There was a movie about this by that asshole from Cheech and Chong. You know who I'm talking about? Cheech Marin. Cheech. Ole, I'm Cheech, dude. I'm smoking weed, dude. And all that fucking guy. Well, Cheech Marin made a movie called Born in East L.A. Born in East L.A. And in this movie, folks, at the end, Cheech Marin's character organizes a bunch of migrants and immigrants in Mexico en masse by the tens of thousands, and they just run their asses through the border. And because there's so many of them, Border Patrol can't do anything to stop them, so they just run right through into the border, and they all end up in California. And folks, this movie, Born in East L.A., was made in the 80s. So this just goes to show you how much planning these fucking leftists have when it comes to these policies that are now being put forth. I'm not kidding. Look at the end of that movie, Born in East L.A. That's the end. That's the premise. Cheech Marin's character organizes these tens of thousands of fucking migrants to just run across the border, and the Border Patrol agents can't do anything because, I mean, there's only like 2 or 3 of them, and there's like tens of thousands of migrants. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. They've told you what's going to happen. You're just too fucking stupid to realize it. You're too busy playing video games. You're too busy fucking waxing your character cartoons. You're too busy being a waste of life. And believe me, being a waste of life is going to catch up. Now, what are we going to do with these migrants? Okay, I want to be honest with you. I don't know. Because right now, we are in a demographic shift in America, as I described in the beginning of this broadcast. And the demographic shift is what? Products of single mothers, feminists, faggots, dykes, gender benders, man-children, and weak men. And they're doing nothing. They're turning themselves into nothingness, just like the socialists did in Europe before they got invaded, pillaged, and raped by the jihadists that were from Syria. I believe that maybe, just maybe, the same thing not only is going to happen, but maybe it should happen here. Maybe us on the right should take a different approach when it comes to this migrant invasion. Now, why do I say that, folks? Because these migrants, I read a report today that some of the migrants in this caravan that are a part of the LGBTQ, I'm not kidding, there was... I'm not kidding. There were elements in this migrant caravan of LGBTQ folk, and the reports from them, members of the LGBTQ of the caravan, say that they endured abuse physically and mentally by other migrants. Oh, you know what? Let them through. You know, I mean, let these sons of bitches through so they can go out and gay bash. And you know what? It's catch and release, Holmes. You know, they can go bash a couple of gays and you know, there's no hate crime. They're not citizens. So they're going to be jailed for a few days and then they're going to be released. I mean, these are my kind of people over here. Some of the LGBTQ members of the caravan say they endured abuse by other migrants. Oh, I was abused. Yeah, I was abused because I was gay. I went to suck cock and they wanted to kick my ass. They wanted to kick my fucking ass. I'm not joking. All I wanted to do was suck a cock and give somebody my ass, but they wanted to kick my ass. I'm not joking. I mean, bring them on. Hell with it. Just bring them on. Hey, man, I'm out here in Texas. There's nothing but Mexicans walking around out here in Texas anyway. I know how to deal with a fucking Mexican, man, all right? I know how to deal with Mexicans, all right? Because, look, Mexicans, what do they respect? They respect machismo, Holmes. They respect real men. You know what I'm talking about? They respect tough hombres. You know what I mean? They don't want this LGBTQ shit going on. I mean, they're abusing him physically and verbally in their own caravan. They don't want none of this LGBTQ shit. And guess what? The biggest advocates for these caravans, the biggest advocate for these immigrants are what? LGBTQ. Come on! Bring them on! The hell with it! Bring them on! And let's put them in California. Let's put them in Austin, Texas. Let's put them in San Antonio, Texas. Hey, I don't give a shit. Bring it on, man. I know a little bit of Espanol. You know what I mean? I know a little bit of Espanol. I'd be like, órale. Aquí, over here, fucking pinche culero maricons. All right? Te mato maricón. All right? All right, maricón, te mato. Y tú, you know, that's all you got to say. It's direct them to where the gays are at, and they go out and go kick some ass. All right? Oh, yeah, this is great, man. I'm not even kidding around. You don't understand. I was a part of the caravan, and all I wanted to do was suck a cock. And they wanted to kick my ass. Hey, man, this is what we need. We need a good kick in the ass. And you know what? Not only will they be kicking LGBTQ ass, they'll also be kicking feminist ass. Because, listen, women, do you think that you're going to have a say-so with machismo fucking South Americans and Mexicans? You dumb, stupid feminists, do you understand that in Mexico they give away their daughters to men at 13, 14 years old? This is not uncommon. This is not uncommon. You know, I read a short story about this. It's a very short story. Y'all can look this up. It's called Recuerdo. 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 It's literally a short story about a little girl who's given up by her parents to a man, an older man, and she's like 13, 14 years old. And she now has to obey the man she was given to, because that's what happens in Mexican culture. I don't think you people understand that. Women are subservient. I mean, do you people understand this? I mean, Mexicans are going to force... listen, you'll figure it out for yourselves. Go ahead. Open borders. Go ahead. See what happens, all right? You know who's going to really be the victims of this migrant crisis in America? The weak. The weak, the LGBTQ, the feminists, they're the ones. They're the ones that are going to be getting their asses kicked. They're the ones that are going to be subjugated. Because I'm telling you, man, what these Mexicans and South Americans respect, they respect men. All right? They respect machismo, man. All right? And they give mutual respect for that shit. They don't like this joto shit. You know, that's what they call, that's what, maricon. Maricon, I think, is cocksucker. Joto in Mexico means faggot. All right? All right, let's just bring them on. Just bring them in. Hell with it. Bring them in. They're gay bashing. They're going to suppress these gays. They're going to suppress the weak men. They're going to suppress the feminists. Bring them in. Come on. Who cares? All right? Bring them in. Hell with it. The hell with it. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. You people want this. You're going to get it. You're going to get it. You're going to have an end to your woman's rights. You're going to have an end to your gay rights. And then what are y'all going to do? What are y'all going to do? Y'all think y'all going to, what? You're going to battle a bunch of fucking machismo Mexicans, for Christ's sake? Huh? You're gonna battle a bunch of machismo Mexicans? I'd love to see that. I'd love to see Antifa try to raise up against a bunch of machismo fucking South American Mexicans out here and see what happens to them. I'm not even... I mean, hey, assholes, why do you think that you have so many goddamn trannies and gays from South America, Mexico, trying to come up here so they can live their fruity lives? Because they can't live their fruity life down there. I mean, maybe in Brazil, but Brazil is a completely different country. Those are Portuguese-based individuals, all right? That was once a Portugal colony. So they're way different than your typical South Americans out there. All right? And not to mention Brazil being so sexually open itself and, you know, producing, you know, women with big asses and trannies that look passable. Look at what's happened to their society, huh? Look at what happened to their society. So, you know what? Bring on the Mexicanos, all right? All right, bring on the Mexicanos out here. and let them deal with these damn LGBTQ. Let them deal with these damn leftists, because I'm telling you, these Mexicans ain't going to want no pinche maricones. I'll tell you that right there. They're not going to want jotos, all right, out here wandering around out here without getting their asses beat, all right? And I'm telling you, just wait and see. Y'all think that I'm just saying this out of my ass. I've predicted the future. I said that today, modern-day America was going to happen 10 years ago. So, the hell with it. Bring them on. Bring on the Mexicanos. Bring on the hombres, eh? Anyway, let's move on to a couple other international news that we need to discuss here. Israel and Hamas trade fire after a heavy incursion, folks. I don't know if y'all heard about this. It sounds to me like holy war is about ready to start out here. I don't know if y'all heard about this, but 200 rockets were launched into Israel by Hamas after a senior Israeli army officer and 7 militants were killed. And this includes a Hamas commander, were killed in a botched mission in the Gaza Strip. A botched mission in the Gaza Strip. So as a result, you have Hamas, and this is one of the biggest rocket launchings I've ever seen Hamas do in I don't think I've ever seen them do such an assault. 200 rockets launched into Israel. Now, Israel's Iron Dome, to protect Israel from these rockets, Israel's Iron Dome was able to intercept about 60 of these projectiles. The rest hit Israeli homes in the Be'er, Sevia, and the Ashkelon, I hope I'm pronouncing it correct, neighborhoods in Israel. So, I'm telling you, it's holy war, baby. It's holy war getting ready to go down out there in the Middle East. All right? It's holy war getting ready to come down in the Middle East, baby. And I'm telling you, is everybody ready? Huh? Is everybody ready to be biblical out here, huh? Oh, man. Is everybody ready to get a little biblical out here? I mean, I think it's about ready to jump off, if you want my opinion, all right? I mean, I think it's about ready to jump the fuck off. I have never seen Hamas launch 200 rockets in one shot since this whole goddamn Israeli-Hamas conflict. I have never, ever seen it. Ever seen it. And the Iron Dome, I mean, this kind of gives Hamas a little bit of moral support, because the Iron Dome of Israel wasn't able to take out all the goddamn rockets. They couldn't take them all out. And lest we forget that Hamas creates these rockets out of regular household materials, okay? They don't have your quintessential armaments. I mean, they are literally making bombs with, like, sugar and... I don't want to tell you the recipe, but anyway, they are making bombs with regular, everyday household items, and they're being effective. They're obviously being effective, because 200 rockets and only 60 of them could be intercepted. That gives them an idea that they could continue to hit them up. And I think, if you want my opinion, if this keeps going, we're going to see Israel raid the Gaza Strip, and we're going to see them raid the rest of Palestine, and they're probably going to just usurp the land in general and do a lot of killing. All right? As a matter of fact, how come nobody talks about Israel prior to what I just talked about today? Prior to Hamas throwing 200 rockets into Israel, how come nobody talks about what Israel's doing to Hamas on its borders? I mean, here for the past, 300 days, we have had Hamas and Palestinians attempting to run into the goddamn border of Israel. And before they even get there, you got Israel taking pop shots and literally killing people as they approach the goddamn border. I mean, how come nobody's talking about that? How come nobody's talking about open borders for Israel? How come nobody's talking about all the people Israel is killing when it comes to protecting their border? Look, I'm not hating on Israel for protecting its border. I think that the United States should probably do the same thing, but I want to be honest with you, now that we've got the migrant caravans, and they don't really like LGBTQ, and they sure as hell don't like women mouthing up, maybe we do need them in here to toughen up America a little bit, huh? Huh? Maybe we need a couple of tough hombres in here to start slapping women around a little bit and start, putting boots in fucking gays' fucking shit funnels so they can truly realize what oppression is, so they can truly recognize what subjugation is, huh? Let's bring it on, for Christ's sake. Let's bring it on. But I digress. Once again, I asked, why isn't anybody talking about Israel killing massive amounts of people? Because Palestinians are raiding their borders. How come? Huh? How come? Jesus Christ. Let me go ahead and take a sip of some high-quality H2O up in here. Because, man, I'm just... look, now that we're going this direction politically, now we can start playing some dirty politics games. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Oh, man, let me go ahead and take a sip of this high-quality H2O. Good stuff, baby, good stuff. Oh, man, I'm loving this. I'm loving this. And people in the chat room are saying the reason nobody's saying anything about Israel killing people at their borders is because of the oy vey, oy vey, oy vey, oy vey, oy vey, oy vey, yay, yay, yay. Maybe that's some of the truth, because I want to be honest with you. A lot of the gatekeepers of mainstream media happen to be Jewish. All right, happen to be Jewish, for Christ's sake. So as a result, maybe that's why we're not seeing so much coverage. We're not seeing so much coverage out here as it relates to the, to the Israelis shooting massive amounts of people that are approaching their border. And look, even if we don't have it being broadcasted because of the gatekeepers of mainstream media, is it wrong? Is it wrong for somebody to protect their borders? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think that it is wrong. Like the president says, without borders, you have no country. So, Israel, with all due respect, either, Israel is going to oblige sovereignty and stop promoting globalism, or they're going to open up their borders and allow a bunch of Palestinians in. I'm tired of this, all right? I'm just saying, what's right is right. And by the way, what have I told you about Israel? There is a rift in Israel. The rift, a separation of the Jewish people right now. You've got the side of the secularists and those that are Orthodox Jews that are fighting against each other. That's why, folks, when this ridiculous false flag synagogue shooting happened in Pittsburgh, everyone who was a part of this synagogue shooting was like, we got to ban guns, and we don't like the President Trump. He's not progressive enough for us. We don't want Trump over here, We don't want the Trump over here, for Christ's sake. Do you understand? And did you hear the Israeli response to the synagogue shooting in Pittsburgh? The Israelis, and I'm talking about the Israeli government, didn't even want to acknowledge that the place that had the shooting, the synagogue that had the shooting in Pittsburgh, was even a synagogue. Can you believe this? The Israeli government came out and said, hey, we don't even think that this is a synagogue. These people are secularists. Did y'all remember that? Even the ambassador to Israel in America said that, hey, look, these are secularists, these are secularists here, and they're not a part of the Jewish, contingent in Israel. That right there shows the splintering of the Jewish people right now. And you can't blame all Jewish people for every objective, because there is a split, baby. There is a split right now. And I think that, I have to say, I'm on the side of the Orthodox Jews. Because these secularist Jews are the ones that are trying to call for us to disarm ourselves. The secularist Jews are the ones that are calling for open borders. The secularist Jews are the ones that are helping the caravans. And you have to understand this. This is the rift between the Jewish people right now as we see it. So, I'm just saying, I mean, that's why Hamas, if you want my opinion, who are also being funded by leftists and secularists, have the ability and the balls to launch 200 rockets into Israel, and Israel's Iron Dome could only intercept 60 of them. The rest hit Israeli homes. And you know, Israel, and one thing I got to respect about the Jews, I want to be honest with you, one thing I respect about the Jews is that when it comes to death, they're not emotional about death like us in America are out here, for Christ's sake. I mean, a mass shooting happens and all of a sudden, oh my God, this is so sad. We gotta ban guns now. We gotta ban guns. Oh my God. I mean, Israel gets hit up with violence on a consistent basis. Whether it be terrorist attacks, rockets being put into their, whether it's from Hamas or even Iran. Remember the Golan Heights? Golan Heights is always being hit up by rockets that are sponsored by Iran. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm just simply telling you guys that maybe the United States needs to take a lesson from Israel in not being so emotional, not being such a bunch of pussy-whip fucking crying faggots when it comes to death, when it comes to, things happening on American soil, etc. We're so fucking emotional, you know, man? Fucking makes me sick. Not even kidding, man. I'm sick of all the emotionalism in America today. A bunch of pussy-whip bunch of faggots, Makes me sick. Anyway, let me move on to another subject matter. Now, the president, I'm talking about President Trump, he skipped the Asia Summit in Singapore that's happening this week. Instead, he sent Vice President Pence to go out there to this Asia Summit. Now, why didn't the president go to the Asia Summit? I'll tell you why, folks, because China is calling for a world economy at this Asia Summit in Singapore. Meaning that it is trying to consolidate countries to oblige a trade pact to create a new world order economic system. The problem is that it's failing to gather nation states for a landmark trade pact. And why are they failing to gather countries for a landmark trade pact? Because it's China. Nobody trusts China. Nobody even likes China, especially after the vulgar display of power that they have done for the past 8 years out there in the South China Sea. Out there in the South China Sea where they make that artificial island and they're putting all kinds of military armaments and men. I mean, they're not winning any friends by asserting themselves out there in the South China Sea. No one trusts China, and moreover, folks, most people realize that China's economy was purely dependent on the United States' consumption. All right? Purely on United States' consumption, for Christ's sake. All right? And as a result of that, most countries that China is soliciting to be a part of this World Economy Trade Pact, they don't want it. All right? They don't want it. They don't want to be a part of this. They don't trust China. China is not to be trusted because these people know that China is so desperate right now. It's so desperate that it needs anything to make its economy continue to flourish. You know that? I mean, it's so desperate right now that it just, economies, they don't want to have anything to do with China. They don't want to contribute to China's fucking flourishing. They hate China. That's why I keep telling each and every one of you folks that China is a paper tiger, and that's why the president keeps poking at him, baby. You know what I mean? That keeps poking at him with trade tariffs, with sanctions. And come December, folks, if there is no trade deal between the United States and China, I'm going to tell you, the president is going to implement a tariff on every goddamn incoming import from China in the United States. All right? So, I'm going to be honest with you, folks. That's why he sent Vice President Pence, because the president doesn't want to have anything to do with any of these world economic trade pacts, because, folks, that's really how everything gets started. I mean, lest we forget, folks, that the European Union was initially a economic pact, remember? You remember that? I mean, it wasn't some new form of consolidated government. It was an economic pact. And then gradually through time, all of a sudden, the European Union became an economic agreement. Then it became just incrementally more and more. Now, guess what? The European Union, these bureaucrats in Brussels, supersede the nation states that comprise the European Union. I mean, they're talking about punishing governments like Poland, like Hungary, all right? They're talking about punishing them because they're not obliging the migrant policies of the EU. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they are not obliging the migrant policies of the EU. So what is the EU going to do with Hungary? They've already talked about stripping their voting rights away from them from the European Union. Can you believe that? They are considering stripping the voting rights of Poland because they are not obliging the migrant policy of the EU. They're even talking about doing it to Italy, because remember, Italy ain't too fond about allowing these migrants into their country either. And you see, folks, that's why you've got the French frog president, Macron, talking about an EU army. And I know that he's talking about having an EU army to protect itself from China, from Russia, and the United States. But the real reason why that they want an EU army is to suppress the nation states that comprise the European Union. And once this EU army comes to fruition, every country that's a part of the EU is no longer going to be a country. All right? No longer going to be a country. You are going to be a part of the European superstate. And like I've said time and time again, what was the last country to call itself a union? The Soviet Union, by God, the first communist nation state. That's why I keep telling each and every one of you that globalism is communism. That's why they call it the European Union. All right? I mean, folks, read this up for yourself. They've already comprised the trade pact of the African Union. That's why Vice President Pence is at this goddamn Asia summit in Singapore, because they're trying to comprise some level of an Asian Union. Remember, they tried this to us out here in America. Remember during the time of George W. Bush Jr. and Vicente Fox, which was the president of Mexico, and whoever the fucking fruity prime minister was of Canada? All three of these guys signed an agreement that was going to culminate into the North American Union. All right? North American Union. Look it up, baby. You want to know why the North American Union didn't come to fruition? Because we elected Donald Trump in 2016. And Donald Trump was anti-globalist. It was Trump and his election that forced these globalists to come out from hiding and to openly admit that that's what they want. To openly admit that they want communism. To openly admit they want globalism. To openly admit that they want the consolidation of power on a global scale. And that's why I'm telling each and every one of you folks, you know, that's what we're witnessing right now as we speak. We are witnessing the open of globalization. And just like what happened to the European Union, with all those jihadis, with all those Africans going in 3 million, 4 million, whatever the number is, and plundering and pillaging the European Union, same thing's going to happen here. All right? Same thing is going to happen here. And unfortunate, I mean, maybe we need it, you know? I mean, the whole reason why the Europeans allowed the jihadists, because let's be honest, why did they do it? It kills 80 birds with one stone, doesn't it? You bring in these migrants from Syria, from these battle-hardened jihadist states, you bring them into a pacified, pussified, weak men society like most of the European nations. They plunder and pillage the land to where they subjugate the domestic population, they commit terrorist acts, and those terrorist acts from the migrants that the European Union brought in are justified because they want to incrementally bring in totalitarianism. And take a look at the approach of totalitarianism that the European Union, the UK, all of those European countries are going towards. And why are they justifying it? Because why? I'll tell you why. Because of nothing more than globalism. And what is globalism ultimate? What is its ultimate objective? Okay? Its ultimate objective is to equally distribute the third world into the first world. To equally distribute the third world into the first world, so that the whole globe is a part of the third world, so that the globe will be begging the consolidation of power, which is probably going to be the United Nations, folks. It's going to be the United Nations that's going to govern the conduct of nations. Remember, George W. Bush said it, you know. I'm talking about George H.W. I mean, folks, you dumbasses, I hate to keep repeating this, but lest we forget, in September 11th, 1991, exactly 10 years before the 9/11 attacks, George W. Bush announced the New World Order. He announced the emerging of the New World Order. And really what it comes down to is the fact that they want to equally distribute the third world to everybody. And the only places that are going to be affluent are those that are epicenters of the globalist system. I mean, I'm sure Switzerland is going to be just fine. I'm sure, you know, certain cities in Europe are going to be just fine. They're going to be rich. I mean, you know, I keep telling you this, folks. The regular, everyday people are not, they're not a factor in globalism. You're nothing more than a subject. You're not even a slave, for Christ's sake. You're a serf. And you got so many mindless people because it's so easy to virtue signal, begging for open borders, begging for immigrants to come on in. Begging, begging, begging. I mean, that's what the Europeans did, remember? They accepted those jihadists into their country with open arms, and guess what happened? They pillaged and plundered the Europeans. And you know what's even more sick about it, folks? Is that the Europeans, especially these women that are getting raped out there, they're forgiving the Jehudis that are raping them. They're forgiving the wild Jehudis that are raping them. Why? Oh,
I'm just saying, he came from a very bad land, and he didn't know any better. I mean, let's not prosecute him for my rape, okay? Let's not prosecute him for my rape. He's just doesn't know any better. He didn't do nothing.
I'm not kidding, folks. That's what they're doing. You can look this up. There are countless stories of women getting raped by Yehudis who have sympathy for these idiots. I mean, I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. And this is the madness we're going down, for Christ's sake. So, as I'm suggesting in the beginning of this broadcast, I think that the capitalists in America have to take a different approach to politics at this point in time. And in my personal opinion, since we, the capitalists, are the ones that are the taxpayers, we've got to assert our dominance in a political way. And the way we're going to do this is we are going to fight fire with fire. Since these morons that want to be socialists so bad, well, then let's play socialism with them. And what is socialism? Socialism is more regulation. Socialism is more bureaucracy. And as I stated in the beginning of the broadcast, we got to start proposing legislation that's going to hurt each and every one of these dumbasses who want to vote in this socialist nonsense. And I'm talking about regulating video games, folks. I am not kidding. I am not kidding. We need a regulation on video games like they regulate porn or alcohol. We do not need young people subjecting themselves into a docile position of nothingness while doing nothing but playing video games. We need to stop paying for... I'm talking about taxpayer money. We need to stop paying for age drugs. We need to stop paying for Truvada. And there are other legislations that we can hit up the other side with that we can actually gain bipartisan work. We can have Republicans and Democrats falling in line with this. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. And in my personal opinion, I also think that something should be done about pedophiles. I think that we should kill pedophiles. I'm not kidding around. I don't even understand why we are out here allowing the sexualization of children by the LGBTQ. I don't understand why we're allowing grown men going to Comic-Cons, going to BronyCons, and all these dumbass cartoons that are meant for children. I don't understand why we're not busting these people and throwing them in jail so these big, tough, and fucking murder motherfuckers can basically do what America can't do, and that's eliminate these people. You know? Eliminate these people. We've got a lot of loser people, folks, in America, and I hate to say it, it all comes from two generations specifically. Millennials and these new Generation Zers, folks. And there's no changing them. There's no changing these people. Just like Europe realized that there's no changing those socialists. You know, oh, yes, I'm a socialist, yes, I like to fuck, I like to drink, I like to do drugs, and all I do is just, the government takes care of me, and this is great. Just like they realized that they can't change those people, and they weren't producing enough babies, that's why they justified bringing in the Yehudis from Syria. It's the same reason. The same reason. I mean, look at childbirth in America. It's coming to a standstill. It's the same reason why they're going to bring in all these motherfucking machismo, badass Mexicans that hate gays, that slap women around, etc. So, what's going to happen? Huh? What's going to happen? I'm looking forward to it, actually. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I would love to see some badass hombres slapping some stupid feminists around. I'd love to see some badass hombres kicking the crap out of a few gays because they're prancing their fucking asses around. They're leprechaun in their asses. You know what I mean? They're leprechaun in their asses down the street. I'd love to see it, man. I'd love to see it. Anyway, we're almost done with the broadcast. I want to end this broadcast by stating the following, okay? Stan Lee, okay, the guy who created Marvel Comics, died today at 95. Now, I want to be honest with you. This goes to show that if you contribute to the degradation of society, you're going to die miserable and alone and everybody trying to gank your money from you. And that's exactly what happened to Stan Lee at the end of his life. At the end of his life, and you all remember, for the past couple of years, since his wife died, now all of a sudden, his wife dies, you got all kinds of people trying to take his money away from him. And who knows how much Stan Lee is worth, man. I mean, this guy created Marvel Comics. And you want to know something? You want to know why I think Stan Lee died miserable and alone and everybody ganking him for his money and his intellectual property, etc.? Because he contributed, in my opinion, to the degradation of this society. He contributed to the degradation of the American male. That's why we have so many American males out here claiming that they're Superman. Oh, wait, Superman is DC Comics. I'm Batman. Look at me cosplaying. I'm Spider-Man. Yay, look at me. I'm cosplaying at Comic-Con, and I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. I don't want to grow up. I want to be a man-child forever. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm sorry, but Stan Lee died a miserable death. And look, he didn't have anybody around him. As a matter of fact, they've been trying to kill him for the past 3 years after his wife died. They've been trying to kill him for like 3 or 4 years. Remember, he had to come out and do a private interview and said, hey, look, I'm of a sound mind. I'm okay. I don't know what the hell's going on here. I'm not giving up anything. Remember that? And you know what, folks? Nobody cared. You know, he was an old man. They knew he was going to die. They tried everything to kill him faster so that they can get his intellectual property and his money. And you know what? I don't want to say R.I.P. to fucking Stan Lee. I don't. As a matter of fact, Stan Lee, I hope you're burning in hell right now for contributing to the degradation of the American male, you fucking piece of shit. All right? How do you like that, Stan Lee? Huh? For turning a bunch of males into a fucking bunch of cartoon fetish faggots. All right? How do you like that, Stan Lee? All right? Oh, I'm supposed to be sad because, some fucking 95-year-old billionaire faggot who turned the whole goddamn country, not only this country, but other Western civilizations into a bunch of faggots. I'm supposed to care. Oh, I'm supposed to give a shit. Fuck you, Stan Lee. All right? If you had never existed, we wouldn't be going through this faggotry. I'm not joking. If Stan Lee had never been born, we wouldn't be out here having man-children obsessed with fucking cartoons, man. So, you know what, Stan Lee? I hope a fucking pitchfork is going up your ass right now because, I mean, you contributed to this, all right? All right, I'm not even kidding around. I'm fucking sick. I'm fucking sick of this man-child shit. I'm sick of the gaming shit. I'm sick of the fucking cartoon shit. I'm sick of it. So go fuck yourselves if you're offended by this. I don't care. All right? I don't care if you're offended by it. Had this guy not been around, we wouldn't have half the faggotry that we have in this country right now. We wouldn't have half the faggotry in this fucking country right now. So give me a fucking break. Fucking tired of these fucking people putting these fucking cartoon faggots on such a pedestal. Fuck you and fuck your cartoons, alright? I'm serious. I'm sick of this shit. You people are fucking grown men, you stupid fucking idiots. I mean, did you see your parents in such fucking fandom over the Flintstones, for fuck's sake? Huh? Did you see your fucking parents in such fandom over Tom and Jerry? Get the fuck out of here, you fucking man-children pieces of shit. I want to be honest with you. I almost want these immigrants to come into this country and beat the shit out of you fucking man-child, game-playing, cartoon fetish, fucking LGBTQ faggots, for Christ's sake. All right? I'm not kidding around. I can't wait for these motherfuckers to come in and start slapping you idiots around, because I'm telling you, what Stan Lee contributed made our society weak. Made our society a bunch of weak, cosplaying, game-playing, cartoon fetish faggots. And I'm tired of it, alright? I'm fucking tired of it. And you know what? If you don't like me because of it, I don't give a shit. Grow up, faggot. Grow up. Jesus Christ. And on that note, I'm getting the fuck out of here, right? I'm out of here. And by the way, I'm speaking for the capitalists out there that are paying taxes, that understand that our country is a pussy whip version of itself. And unless we do something about it, and the only thing that we can do about it, folks, is pass legislation to punish these fucking generations for being so stupid and bringing in immigrants. I mean, what else can we do? We got to replace the population. I mean, folks, we've got 500,000 millennial men, working age millennial men, that are out of the job market because why? Yay! I'm going to Comic-Con. I'm going to as Spider-Man, and I'm going to go see Stan Lee, and he's going to autograph my comic book. Yay! Hey, Mom, I'm a 30-year-old man. It doesn't matter. I'm going to go play this video game. Thanks, Mom. Yay! Hey, look at me. I'm waxing my carrot off to sexualize cartoons. Yay! So, that's all there is to it. Fucking grow up. And if you don't want to grow up, well, then you're going to get fucking mowed down in about 5 or 10 years. Mark my fucking words. If you don't want to grow up, you're going to be pushed around like the pussy, weak fuck that you are, and good riddance on you. And if you don't believe me, take a look at Europe if you don't believe me, all right? If you don't believe me, take a look at Europe. And that's what's going to happen to the United States because of you faggots. So fuck you, fuck Stan Lee, and fuck all you people that fucking buy this shit. I'm out of here. I'm gonna go fucking eat some steak, for Christ's sake. All right? I'm gonna go fucking eat some steak. I'm gonna live lavish. All right? I'm gonna do my thing because let me tell you, I'm still gonna live as capitalist as possible. I'm gonna make as much money as I possibly can because as long as there is a means of production that is still private in America, then everything's going to be all right, baby, all right? Woo! Oh, man. Oh, I'm loving this, for Christ's sake. And I know that I'm triggering you little fucking autistic man-child faggots. Good. I'm good that I'm triggering you fucking stupid losers. You're a fucking pathetic waste of life. And if you don't want to fucking admit it, well, then you'll eventually have to admit it. When a fucking Mexican is slapping you around and ripping your fucking goddamn Spider-Man little stupid costume off at a fucking Comic-Con, huh? Fuck you, Stan Lee, alright? Fuck you and everything you created, man. You've created a fucking man-child generation that is lost. These fucking generations are lost. They're lost. I mean, and if you don't believe me that they're lost, then let's just be honest. Who's in charge right now? Who's in charge of the Democratic Party? Nancy Pelosi and fucking Chuck Kick the American people in the balls Schumer. They're all over the age of 70. I mean, take a look at our president. Thank God for our president, but take a look at his age. He's 72 years old. I mean, you fucking stupid millennials and you fucking Gen Zers should have taken control of at least some institutions of power, but you don't. Hence why there's 500,000 able-bodied millennial men out of the workforce. Oh, man. And look, I don't really care if you people like me or don't. I've had fucking people with cartoon avatars on their Gab fucking profiles telling me, oh, you know what, Ghost, you should care more about the community instead of the politics, you know? You should care more about, like, the community, because we used to like you, Ghost. You know, you used to, like, pacify our autism with the fucking radio graffiti, and we want to bring that back again, okay, Ghost? We really want to bring that back. I miss those days because I used to have a lot of fun, you know? It's not as fun as, like, you know, whacking off to a naked cartoon little boy, but, no, I had a lot of fun, like, you know, doing radio graffiti with you, you know what I mean? Give me a fucking break. Anyway, I'm out of here. I will be back Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard U.S. Texas time. And, of course, folks, the official website of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast, ghost.report. All right, spread it around like wildfire, all right? And especially to these little fucking faggots that I've been talking about, especially if they're going to get triggered, why don't you forward that to them, all right? Forward some of this to them, all right? I'm talking about, look, this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about self-serving, unappreciative autists, ass-bees, feminists, faggots, dykes, gender benders, man-children, weak men, and, of course, what else? Products of single mothers, huh? I fucking hate you single mothers. I'm telling you, there's nothing worse that I hate in the world than a fucking single mother. Oh, look at me. I shitted out a couple of kids, and I have no father to raise them. Look at me. I'm special, and Look at me. I'm a fucking single mother, and I deserve what? What do you deserve, you dumb bitch? You don't deserve nothing. You're a fucking filthy whore. And unless you lost your husband because of some tragedy or at war, you are a fucking filthy, dirty dish rag whore. And take that to the grave. I'm out of here. Long live the capitalist army and death to feminism! Death to socialism! And death to communism! I'll be back this Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. and tell all the goddamn autists, ass-bees, faggots, dykes, gender benders, man-children, weak men, and products of single mothers to bring it the fuck on. I'm out of here!